What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 7 of the podcast. Today we got Jayden Umbarger. He was a captain on the Navy football team in 2023. This guy is on and off the field just someone you want on your side. You know, he's a really good leader, someone who's got really strong character, and we kind of get into some real serious, good topics that you guys should take some advice from, and then also talk a little bit about aliens and the Rizzler and some more fun topics like that. But this is a very good episode. It's a little bit longer, but hope you guys like it, and let me know how you guys like it as always, and I hope you guys enjoy. So Jayden, Jay, you go by Jay now?
People call me Jay.
Yeah.
I don't, as long as they're not like saying like Jordan or something. I have people like chop up my last name, but yeah.
What is it's Umbarger?
Yeah, Umbarger.
Yeah.
I have people say Umbarger. They'll like read it. They'll be reading it. They'll be like Umbarger. I'm like, damn.
I mean, how do they get that? I mean, I get it. Like Barger's kind of.
Yeah. That's why I don't trip about it.
Yeah, you don't get too upset about it. No. So hold on. I want to go back to when we first unofficially met. Actually, you probably don't even know. You were a freshman at Gilman. You were coming to Spalding at Love Field. You were playing football there, and you guys were smacking us. You're back there running like, dude, you're running like a madman in the backfield, like getting just like all over us, and we were getting so frustrated. And me being like maybe like the psychopath that I am, I was just like, I need to freaking pop this kid. So I remember you guys were beating us by like probably 14. This is my sophomore year, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys were killing us, and you're just running all over us, and you take a step out of the out of bounds, and I just popped you late, like super late hit, like it was like really late. But I was just like, I need to like this little is running all over us, like I need to pop him. And I remember your coaches and like your whole sideline was like just yelling at me, and I was like, all right, I probably should not have done that. Yeah. But then you came to Spalding.
Yeah.
And I remember when you came, I was like, this is that that's been running all over us at Gilman. Yeah. Like, he's going to be a dog. And I feel like it wasn't your, like, just ability to play football. It was your, like, mentality that was really the most, like, it just stood out the most. Like, I feel like that's something that, you know, you can't really teach that kind of stuff. Maybe you can when you're like formative years, when you're a teenager. Maybe that's the most, you know, time that you can do that. But then once you get to like college and stuff, you see some kids and it's just like the mentality is not there. Yeah. And they got all the talent in the world. You know, you probably know a ton of kids like that.
For sure.
That they're combine players, but they just, you know, somehow can't put it together on the field. Yeah. So I guess what would you say is like important mentality wise? Like, how do you get into that mentality?
Yeah. So just to go back on that, I actually remember that game because I remember seeing like Coach Schmidt, Coach Tyrone. Like I remember them watching the game like close to like where the training room was. But I remember at the time I didn't know anything about Spalding. I didn't know anything about that area in general. When I was at Gilman, you know, that year I was on JV. You know, you want to play varsity, but in my head I'm just like, I'm just playing ball. And I think that which goes into like the mentality thing was like when I started playing at Gilman, which was my 8th grade year. By that point I had already played football for 10 years. And like a lot of people, they play like, very good.
Sorry.
A lot of people, they play like, you know, basketball, lacrosse, wrestling. They'll do other sports. I played football all year round, indoor football, summer league football, and then, you know, obviously like just 11-on-11 regular football. And I think the mentality really just came from a lifestyle. I was just joking with my friend the other day, but like, literally football kind of made me who I am today. And I think the mentality came from, number one, my father. Like, he coached me since I was young. And he actually wasn't the one that signed me up for football. My mom did. And I think my dad was just because he was there every step of the way and coaching me, I didn't want to let him down. So once I kind of got out of his range and I got to like high school football, I was like, this is all on me now. And of course I had a support group, but I think the mentality came from just loving the game of football. Like even being done now, like I want to coach. I still want to be around the game. Like it's hard for me to actually turn on like college football games because I'm like, I wish that could be me. But
Yeah.
I still support the guys, you know. But I would say the mentality definitely comes from that lifestyle of just playing football all year round, being disciplined enough to say, hey, like, you know, my friends are doing this, but I got to go do this.
Yeah.
And that kind of just built up like over time. They say that like it takes like 21 days to like build a good habit. Think about what I played since I was 5. I played until I was like 23. I mean, you could do the math there, but all those years of playing football, it was just like a lifestyle.
Yeah, the thing about, I mean, what is it about football? Because it's my favorite sport too, to play and to watch. Even though I played lacrosse in college, football was my love. Lacrosse I liked a lot. I loved like a lot of aspects of it, but football, man, there's something about it. I think it's like the culture of it, the locker room. Like a football locker room is, you can have. I mean, think about when we were in high school. I always tell people, like, you got some kids that are probably like, you know, like really like studious, like really probably just on the team to say they play. And then you got kids like that are coming, like they're there to hit and they're there to play, and they're like, maybe their family situation's like bad or something, and they're like, this is their outlet. And it's like two opposite ends of the spectrum on the same team. They're like completely different looking. Like I don't want to like name names and putting one on blast. So we had funny.
I can think of a couple names.
We had some funny players on our team, and like I don't know. I feel like other sports, you know, you kind of get the same sort of person, you know, and you don't have that polarity on the team, which I think is awesome. Yeah. Like mixing with a bunch of different personalities and a bunch of different cultures, and then you're all fighting for that one thing. I remember when we were at Spalding, it felt like, you know, we're all fighting to be number one. I mean, our team, we had like good teams, and like it's a lot different now. They're actually, you know, really good right now. And also with the playoffs now and the MIAA, it's like it's a lot different, better. But yeah, I don't know. I think football though, there's something about it, and just cracking someone is the best feeling ever.
Dude, like that's when, like, besides the I think that's where it came in, was like I wanted to be a Marine, because it was like the same thing, but just now I'm in the military. It's like I get to like go work out, go like just do physical things, but at the same time like building with the team. And that's, bro, football is all about just like team chemistry. We had people coming from all walks of life. I mean, think about you. Think about like Cole Llewellyn. Like I remember my sophomore year, Cole getting a pick 6. You remember that?
Yeah, St. Mary's. Yeah.
But I remember like guys making plays against people that are like, if not playing D1 ball, like some got to the league, but we were doing stuff against guys that like we probably shouldn't have been doing. Yeah. But we did it because I think it's all about the culture. I think we had a great culture on our team. Yeah. Because we could have guys that were just in the books, but would come out to practice like it was a game. But then we had guys that were, you know, trying to get these like big D1 offers. Yeah. But everything that kept like the team together, the glue, was the culture. Yeah. Like we always stress like toughest team in Maryland.
Yeah. TTIMD.
And I never forget that. Like I always talk to Coach Mitt. I tell him like I'm always grateful for having the opportunity to come, because like I would compare, because we're talking about coming from like Gilman, I would compare Gilman to like the modern day, like how D1 is kind of turning into, all the NIL, all the transfers. You have people coming to not only get a check, but they want to shine. Yeah. And I would say like playing at Navy, playing at Spalding, you know, we learned that, hey, like it's not about what you want from this. It's not about what you want. It's about what the team needs.
Yeah.
And I think we had a good sense of like what we needed to do as a team. And I don't think it ever, I think for some, you know, it got to some people that were trying to get those D1 offers. But at the same time, like, if you're not winning, you're not going to get those college looks.
Yeah.
And I think as a coach and as like leaders on the team, when you can get everybody on that same page, like, hey, we need to win. Everything comes after that. All the D1 stuff, all the looks, all the, I guess you could say, glory. But like looking at Spalding now, I think they built we go back in the summer sometimes for like the 7-on-7, and I remember like there was like me, Zaire, and like Julius. We had like, I mean, obviously people are going up to Julius, right? Because he's on the Titans.
Yeah, now he's got all this fame. Like, come on, Julius, you can't be doing all that.
But like, there was guys coming up to me and Zaire.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't expect guys to come up to us because like they're like younger, they probably don't know who we are.
Yeah.
But then we had guys coming up to us like, oh, Jayden, like Zaire. I'm like y'all know us.
Yeah.
But that we had to build that culture for them to get to where they are now.
Yeah.
Like the great teams all throughout football, like they all have great culture. You can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
So, and I think that that is obviously coach led, but it was player led too. Like I can remember you, I can remember Cody, Dan Hood. I remember all these guys like Nick Vermillion. I remember all these guys. I remember hearing these guys like saying like, we need to do this, we need to do that. And that's like infectious, like especially to like a young player at the time. And then like when I became, you know, when I got like seniority, then I'm like, okay, now I gotta do that.
Yeah.
So.
And I think so what I think it is it's a trickle down from the coach down to, you know, assistant coach or whatever, but down to captain, down to play, like contributor, down. I mean, it's everyone in the organization. And the thing about Spalding that's so great, and you felt it when we were there too, it felt like we were building something. Like we're a part of something like bigger, you know? Like Schmidt, the way that Coach Kyle Schmidt, for those of you guys who don't know who's the coach at Spalding right now, Kyle Schmidt, the way he was just installing this culture was just like everyone's important. Everyone has a role. Even if, let's say, you don't get in the game, you know, you still have a role. Let's say you're an older someone, you know, you're a senior and you're only playing scout team. Your role is to play scout team as best as you can and then also be a role model for these younger guys. I mean, I remember like these younger receivers coming in and maybe acting a little bit like a diva or something, and then they're looking up to these older guys that I'm not going to say any names, but like some linebacker that's really not playing, but he's just got the right attitude. And these younger guys are like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't act up around him. Like he's going to call me out. And it was that just culture that was created by Schmidt and by Forby and by Gibson. I don't want to name everyone, but just like the whole coaching staff that came in. And really, once you have that strong culture and you just focus on that main goal of winning and building something great, and everyone buys in. That's the other thing. Everyone on our team was completely bought in. Yeah. There wasn't a single person on the sideline when we were like, let's say we're down by 7. There wasn't anyone that was like, oh, well, we're going to lose. Yeah. Everyone was like, we're going to win. We're going to win this game. Yeah. Every single person. I mean, just having that is so important. And just like the attitude, like you said, it's infectious. Yeah. It infects you. Yeah. So if you have a bad attitude, it's going to infect everyone. If you have a good attitude, it's going to infect. I'm sure you know people that have bad attitudes. And to me, I've gotten better at this. I used to just pen up all this like anger about people with bad attitudes that I'm around, and like whenever they're around, I just wouldn't talk, and I would be so like pissed off about it. Mm-hmm. Now I'll just start calling them out, like you have a horrible attitude. Like I can't be around you. You got a bad attitude, and I'll like call them out, which is a lot better. But I guess you as a captain at Navy, bringing it to that, how was that? First off, when you got told you were a captain, where you're like, man, this is part of, I mean, it had to be like a goal of yours, you know?
Yeah. It was that. So when I moved from quarterback to receiver, my spring semester freshman year, plebe year, I guess they would say it. But yeah, freshman year. The coach at the time, he's still there right now, Coach Mick Yokitis, he made us, all the receivers, fill out goals for like the upcoming season. And you would do like your, long-term goals, and it was life and football. So long-term goals and short-term goals. And one of my, I guess you could say, long-term goals was to make captain. At the time, didn't really, like, I put that down to strive for it, but it wasn't like a burning thought in my head. I just wanted to win football games. And then came time for like senior year, and it's like, it's time to like pick captains. So I was actually the end of my junior year, our record didn't reflect what I think our potential was. But as far as me, like I had a big like kind of breakout year in terms of like my skills and my ability and kind of like, contributing to the team. And but towards the end of the season, like I was getting utilized so much, my body kind of got wore down. Played every game, but I had like something going on with like my adductor. So I had to like get some stuff like taken care of in like the off season. So I was kind of out in like the winter. So they named 2 captains in the spring, and then they were waiting for the other 2 to get named at the end of the summer, kind of like to earn your spot type of thing. And I remember, that when the first 2 captains got picked, I was obviously always happy, like not like, but in my head I'm like, like I need to be that other captain. Not for any reasons of my own. Had no like glory in this, like not wanting to like do it for any type of legacy. I just wanted to be someone that is represented for our team. Not only as far as like other colleges when we, coin toss or whatever, but for our school and for the guys under me. Like whenever I got like seniority, like I made sure that I was always on my P's and Q's as far as like academics, working out, practice, never taking a day off. But I was more of a lead by example type of guy. Didn't really get to, I feel like when I was there, develop that like outspoken voice. But everyone has their different like leadership styles. I think you got to be authentic. We actually read a book which came into play as far as talking about captains. We read a book called Captain's Class. Went over like all the greats like Tom Brady, Tim Duncan, talking about all these dudes that they were, world-class leaders, like leaders that just it just came natural. And I think for me, I was trying to develop that, like, I think some like you were saying, you want to call a guy out, and it just comes natural.
Yeah.
Like you're just calling that dude out, and leading by example is natural. But I kind of put myself out of my comfort zone before I became captain, because I told myself and others on my team, like, it's not about being a captain. Everyone's a captain. Everyone has a leadership role on this team. It can't be like, the best player who makes all the plays, like telling everyone else what to do. Like we were just talking about. It has to be the guy that's, on scout team like kickoff, that's like running down and like trying to, rock you because we have a game coming up this week. It has to come from everyone. And I think once I took on that mentality, and I really, because obviously had a couple months where I wasn't doing a lot of workouts because I was injured, getting back to not even 100%, but as they would say, when anyone gets injured, they're like, I'm not getting back to 100%. I'm trying to get back to like 200% or whatever. I was trying to get back to that. And when I finally did, and I was just focused on literally working out, being with my team, getting better every day, it came time, I think it was the last day of summer workouts, and they named me and another captain as the last 2. And I mean, I'm be honest with you, at the time, it didn't occur to me that was about to happen that day. Like I knew it was coming up, but I was so caught up in the grind that like it was like the last day of summer workouts, and I was named captain. I was like, wow, like it didn't feel real.
Yeah.
It felt surreal, and I was like, but it wasn't like I've arrived, Like it was more of like okay, let's keep going.
Let's keep going, yeah.
I think, again, our record didn't reflect to what the potential we had. We could have beat a lot of teams. We left a lot of you know, we left a lot out on the table, but where I am happy is like the next class that came up. You think about this year, they beat Oklahoma in the bowl game. They beat Army, destroy Army, and they have a great season. They only lose a couple games, which could have went either way. And I think about that, and it's like that didn't come from just like that year, you know. Obviously, they had some coaching changes, but it came from a built like culture. And I think a lot of the guys, I mean, you know, because you can't transfer in to, you can transfer into Navy, but you have to start all over. You have to become a freshman. So like a guy that's a senior at like whatever school, they would have to start all over. So people don't really transfer in. It's rare, and so you have more transfers out. So it's such a tight nucleus. So like each year that there's like a senior class that's building that culture, it's so like integral for like the next class, because then they have to build off of what the last class did. They have to either build they're either going to build in the negative direction or the positive direction. I think we built in the positive direction, but I'm not taking any credit for their year. But I think that we had to like set that standard. It was like, this is what needed to happen. And my standard was, you know, you show up every day, you work hard, and you do what you need to do for the team to win. And that's all that mattered to me, was like, what could I do for the team to win? And we talked about like having a role. Everyone has a role on the team. If you're gonna, you know, be on like scout team, if you're gonna be the second string receiver, if you're gonna be the backup quarterback, or if you're the star, you know, slot back, you have a role. You have to fulfill that role. As long as you're fulfilling that role, that's all that matters, and the rest will take care of itself. But I think where Navy is different from like a lot of other colleges, and probably I would say the military academy and potentially Air Force, is the bond we have, because we're going into the military and we're going off to do these hard things. At the same time, you know, the academics are hard. We don't get the NILs, you know, guys are transferring out. Like, we have to be so tight. It kind of makes it actually better for us when it comes time for, you know, those fourth quarter games where it's getting tough, because we're like literally relying on each other. And that's all it came back down to, is like, what can I do for this, like, this guy? I know he's a sophomore and he's struggling, whether that be academically, like on the field, or like his attitude. How can I help that guy? And that's what type of leader I was, and that's what being a captain like meant to me. Didn't really get to develop that until I really got to college. I think about like Spalding. I think I obviously, like, you know, I tried to like use my performance to like motivate others, but sometimes like the outspokenness wasn't there. But I've always kind of just wanted to be that guy where it's like, hey, like, this person knows that they can lean on me, and that I'm going to be there for them. But you're right, though. Accountability is 100% important. We need guys that do that call people out. Peer accountability is probably one of the hardest things that anyone can do, whether not even just football. You speak about like football, what it can do for your life, but football in general, you have to keep accountability a lot more than just like, you know, the average like workplace. But if you have that mentality, like you carry from football, and you incorporate that into like whatever, you know, business you're in, whatever type of work you're in, I mean, you can create like a really strong business.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, a couple things there, and that's actually a great point that I don't really think about a whole lot, but it is leadership styles. You know, being someone who's a lead by. Not everyone needs to be the outspoken motivator. Mm-hmm. You know, there's. So if you're like that, I would say, me personally, I am a motivator more than I am. I'm not the guy that's going to tell you, hey, guys, we got to be on time to this. Yeah. Hey, guys, I'm not that guy at all. Yeah. You might be that guy. Yeah. I feel like you're a lead by example type. Someone who, like, if you're looking for someone whose blood pressure is probably the lowest in the room, you're looking at you. You're just like, all right, he's locked in. Yeah. And then I'm more of someone who's a motivator, and I'm just like when it's time to go, I'm ready to go. Yeah. And I'm ready to tell you I'm ready to go. And I hope that I could tell you guys, let's go do this thing. Yeah. And then you got people that, you know, you need to be like, guys, be there at 7:50. You know, we got meetings at 8. Don't be late. I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good point. Like,
Yeah.
you need to know what kind of style you have. And what was the book that you said?
So it's Captain's Class. I can't remember the author's name. The Captain's Class. It's a great read. It's basically like a case study of a bunch of different athletes going through maybe like important games. It was like soccer players, rugby players, basketball players, football players, all these different like world-class athletes that not so much into their performance, but the way they led. And I think it was such a good read for us because not only were the captains reading it, the 4 captains, but we had position captains. So we all got together once a week, I think like every Wednesday, and we would read it. We would have to read like the chapter before coming into the meeting, and we would have a talk about it. And I think it's really something good that Coach Newberry like incorporated, and he was there when we talked about it. But we would talk about it like every week, like leading up to the season, and all those. I mean, there's like different tenets to like leadership, obviously. I mean, you could go talk about leadership all day, but I think when you don't have all the experience in the world, that's where books come into play to help you. Is like, okay, here's guys that have actually done the thing, been great leaders. Like, what can I take from them to try to incorporate into like my leadership style, but not changing who you are. Like we were just talking about. You got to be authentic. You can't like sit there and try to be something you're not, because everyone's gonna see it. Like if you're not being like an authentic leader, but you have to know yourself, obviously, and then seek self improvement. And that book kind of like spells like, okay, because each guy had different like leadership styles. I mean, everyone knows Tom Brady. He has some fire in him. He's gonna tell you what you need to hear. And then you have some guys like Tim Duncan.
Yeah,
he was not like that at all. He was a guy that was just a hard worker, and he led by example. So there was all these different, types of leaders and what they kind of brought to the table. And I think that's where like leadership is really important. Is like, I think people think that yes, there needs to be followers, obviously, and there needs to be leaders. But in order to be a great leader, you have to be a great follower first.
Yeah.
And that's what I had to learn. Was like, you talk about. I was actually just reading this. I have some audio, or not audio, but like the book app.
Yeah.
On like the
the
Apple
Audible or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have some like good like free reads that I like. So like, I was reading about like effective listening, and one of the like hidden gems of like leadership is like you're gonna have like problems, obviously, and you're gonna have stuff that goes on to where it's like, for example, when I was a senior receiver, I still contributed, but a lot of younger guys had roles. But a lot of those younger guys, they didn't have that maturity to when it came down to game time. They didn't know how to deal with their emotions or whatnot, or like they were struggling, like we talked about off the field. But learning how to listen to someone like effectively to like help them, not even help them, but just to make them feel heard, was just like I said, we're talking about leadership. That was a part of my leadership style.
Yeah.
So it's just cool, man, seeing like kind of learning about it and then understanding that leadership just comes in all different like shapes and sizes. It's like, it's amazing, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something that I wish I would have known in high school and college.
Yeah.
That I kind of been figuring out, and then honestly, until you just brought it up, I'm 100% gonna read that book. You don't think about that, and as a coach, you need to be aware of that as well when you're selecting captains or whatever. People just have different styles. So if you don't want to have 3 motivators and no one that's going to be the guy, the responsible older brother who's going to say, you need to be here at this time or whatever. Or like you need someone who's going to be the rock of the team, where when it's hectic and there's a lot going on, you're just going to look at him and he's just going to be calm and collected. Like he knows exactly what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And just looking back at different captains of teams that I've been on, sometimes we didn't have the best mix of personalities as a captain. And those teams, you could have all the skill in the world, but if you don't have that tight-knit, like super well-oiled machine of like a culture team, it's going to be hard for you in those tough moments. And that's what it's ultimately all about. You know, you could win regular season games, whatever, but the big games, that's what you want to win. Who cares about, you know, let's say you're 500, but you get into the playoffs. You're in the playoffs. This is what I always say too, if I was a coach, and I plan to be a coach, like for my kids at least when I have kids and stuff. But I just love sports, so I'll always be involved. Yeah. But it doesn't matter. You know, you got to forget about everything that happened. Once you're in the playoffs, only thing that matters is that you're playing your best ball in the playoffs. Oh, yeah. That's literally the only thing. Yeah. That is the single only thing. Like, people are like, yeah, well, we lost to this team in the regular season. Oh no, we got 5 losses. Who cares? Yeah, who cares? You're in the playoffs now. It's win or go home. Yeah. Forget about everything. If you're playing your best ball, that's the team that's gonna win. Yeah, you know.
And that's where, like, we were just talking about. You have that like fourth quarter mentality. I mean, the Ravens play today, and that's what, like, when people talk about Lamar, they say, oh, but he chokes in the playoffs, and then, like, I hate when people just say he, because, like, obviously
they put it all on the quarterback.
It's all on the quarterback.
Yeah, it always is.
It's a team effort, obviously, but you're right though. Like, it does. Like, as long as you got into the playoffs, as long as you got that bowl game, like, anything else you're like even speaking about, because and a guy that I
someone's about to walk in. P. Crane, what up?
Bro?
No, you're good. We'll wait for him to go by.
Yeah, but a guy that, like, I talked to a lot, Diego Fago, he always used to say it when he was a captain, but it was like going 1-0, like going every play going 1-0, and that mentality of going 1-0 is like such a strong thing to, like, just have and think about, because, you know, you could think about, oh, we lost it, like you said, we lost this team in the regular season, like, and we got them again in, like, the playoffs. It's like, it's 1-0. You don't need to think about what happened already, because you should have already, you know, learned from it, moved on, and, you know, practiced to get better from whatever happened like, that didn't make y'all successful. And that's what when we're talking about sports in general, and then, like, life, that's why I think sports are so important to, like, the youth, and just, like, really making a man, a woman, because they learn through losses and failures that it's okay for that to happen. But, like, what are you going to do when it does happen?
Yeah, adversity. Yeah. You got to face adversity. I mean, I could talk about this. Fires me up so much. I could literally talk about leadership all day. But let's go on to what's it called? How does it feel? I mean, this is just someone who's never experienced it. Scoring a touchdown in D1 football. Yeah. Just like, obviously, it's, you know, when you're playing, you're not thinking about, like, oh, I just scored or whatever. But, like, I don't know. Like, walk me through it. Is it, like, really, like, pretty much the same as anything? You're not, like, overthinking it. It's like, oh, it's a touchdown. But it's pretty sweet.
No,
like, your first touchdown.
First touchdown was against SMU my junior year.
And it was a pretty sweet catch, right?
Yeah, so I had 3 collegiate touchdowns. As a Navy receiver, like, you kind of lick your chops.
Here, hold up. Put this a little bit.
Are we good?
No, you're good.
Right
there. Yeah.
As, like, a Navy receiver, you kind of lick your chops, even getting close to the end zone, because it's like, we're obviously not getting the ball like that. Yeah. So when it came down to, you know, that game in general, where we were passing a lot more, I had a wide open post thrown to me, scored, and at first it's like, oh shit, I scored, like, I scored, and then but then, like, looking back, like, after, it really is something that you can't even, like, you can't begin to fathom, I would say, because it's literally going to be always, like, in a stat book that you scored a collegiate touchdown. Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't, at least me, since I only had 3. Yeah. It's really, like, precious to me. Yeah. And, like, I didn't work every day to, like, say, hey, I scored, but when it finally does happen, it's something to be proud of. Oh, yeah. And then when I had that one, I had the one against Houston on, like, a fourth quarter, like, touchdown. That was a crazy, like,
Maybe that's the one I'm thinking
Yeah,
of.
it was a crazy go ball.
Can we pull one of them up?
Dude, you can try. I mean, you might be able to pull up.
Which one?
You might be able to pull up the Army one.
Army? I think I just saw. Is it in here somewhere?
It would be the 2023 Army.
Oh, that
game.
was 3 weeks ago. Hold
Yeah.
on. Navy
But,
and Army.
And that's another thing. It's like, I have like an appreciation for, like, the actual like working up to like score a touchdown, because people don't understand, like, it doesn't just come like that easy, like, especially in like an offense where we were run heavy. Like, there would be games I didn't even touch the ball. So like when it came time to actually like make a play, it's like you had to make that play, you know. And then I scored my last college football game against Army, which was, yeah, that's one. But I scored my last game against Army, dude. It was we did a like a spot and go, and they rolled to the coverage that we needed them to. So they were in like a they were kind of like a cover 4 look, and I came wide open, just how we like practiced it, and which was dope. But
Oh, this one is.
yeah, that's like a 2-point conversion.
Oh,
yeah,
this is
like
2-point.
Yeah, but even stuff like that, like that's
No, this is the one I want.
yeah, that's the Houston one.
This is the one I was talking about.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. People don't realize, like, so much, so much effort goes in, and especially Navy. You guys aren't throwing the ball. You're not getting a whole lot of chances.
Yeah.
So, like, you see this play, but so much has been leading up to this.
Yeah, and even look at this. This is the
is
fourth. We're
sweet.
down by more, like, he just chucks it, and I'm just like, okay, here's the ball.
That was sweet.
And like at that point, like,
Damn.
I was obviously hyped. We're down, but even like right there, like, you see, I get hype at the end.
Yeah.
But it's just like that fire to want to win so bad. That's what every wideout at Navy at the time and in general sometimes. That's how we feel. We're just because if we get the ball, if we score, we're fired up because like we don't get it often, and like a lot of these guys came from high schools that they were making plays like left and right.
Yeah.
So that's where that fire comes from, and it's good because you're kind of always on the as you say, always on the hunt, like always like ready for your name, your number to be called, your play to be called.
Yeah.
And like my sophomore year, that was a big thing. Was like I was the reverse guy.
Yeah, I remember. You guys would run that reverse.
Yeah, that
like,
reverse
all the time.
Yeah, all the time. And like my first time getting it was our first game, and we played Marshall. They smoked us.
Yeah.
But I didn't plan on playing. I didn't start yet. I was like second string, I think. But it was like 4th and 2, and Coach Nia Montalolo, head coach at Navy at the time, he's like, "Where's Jayden? Where's Jayden?" And I was like, I'm right here. And then he's like, go, we're running the reverse. That was my first college football play.
Oh god.
And I
4th and 2.
4th and 2, and I like busted it for like 40 yards.
That play. When you're sitting, were you on the right side? And
Left side, left side receiver, and then what the quarterback would do is just kind of sweep out to the left. I would get the pitch, and then
so that feeling. So you're not in motion, but he's coming toward you.
Yeah.
That feeling though, when you're just looking, you don't want to mess up. You're don't bobble the ball.
Yeah.
You can't think like that though.
No, you can't.
You just got to think like I'm gonna do this.
I'm just thinking I got to make a play.
Yeah.
Like you're just like I got to make this play. Like,
yeah.
I'm not.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That feeling's got to be crazy.
Bro,
when you catch that ball.
Not only that was my first college play, so not only was I could feel my heart pounding out my chest, but it's 4th and 2, and it's my first play. This could make or break whether I'm gonna play like a lot at Navy or not play at all.
Yeah.
And
I mean that feeling though, like right when you catch it and you're running and your eyes are scanning to see what's going on.
And a lot of the times, man, like there was very few times where it was just wide open field.
Yeah.
Like I think against Notre Dame my sophomore year, wide open field. That was like another 40-yarder. There was times, but then most of the time, man, like it was a DN on that side, staying and contained.
Yeah.
And I had to like make a play. And
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think that's what started, and it goes back to like when I played quarterback. That cool, calm, and collected feeling that I had to always have. It came so natural at receiver. Like when my number was called, when I knew I was about to get the ball, I didn't like freak out. Like I was like, all right, like here we go. I think that's what I can appreciate about playing quarterback is like not only did I know when I was probably going to get the ball because I knew like coverages and stuff, but I knew that when your name is called, it's like you got to be ready.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what I can appreciate from like playing quarterback and like having that kind of like mindset. Anyways,
yeah.
And that's what when we were talking about coaching, like you have to have that next play like mindset or that cool, calm, and collected. Like, hey, like we may have gotten sacked on like second down. Now it's like what 3rd and 13, but here's the next play call I have ready.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do as like a coach, offensive coordinator is like even like when the sack is happening, you already got to look at the next playbook. Like, hey, what's the down and distance? What is the book say we should do on this play?
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's coaching. I can't even. And also quarterback. I could never be a quarterback. I'm too excited and too much emotion going on. I can't even. So I play flag football, which very competitive flag football.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I had to play quarterback. Our quarterbacks were out. No notice. Doback, if you're watching, thanks for the notice. The day of notice that he couldn't play.
Are you lefty?
No.
Oh, you're ready.
Righty. Yeah.
You got a good arm, don't you?
I can throw.
Yeah, I feel like I remember you being able to like.
I can throw on like a reverse play on
Yeah.
a fake pass.
Yeah.
But I can't. I'm not a quarterback.
Yeah, you're not.
I can't do that. Like I don't know how you guys. I mean, obviously, no. Actually, this is the same level that you were playing at for sure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but like I don't know how like, before the play starts, you're scanning the field, you're seeing the defense, and then like you're hiking the ball. You have your reads, so you're looking off your reads, and you're just like. You got to be very collected the whole time. Like me, I'm too much of and like, I don't know. I just don't know how you guys do it. You got to have a certain type of personality.
No, you do. You have to like. It's almost like being like you see guys like I say, Peyton Manning's like the perfect example. I feel like Peyton Manning didn't have the best arm, especially towards the end of his career. Like he had, his neck was all messed up, but he was like a field general.
Yeah.
Like he knew. When he lined up for that play, he knew exactly not only what the defense was trying to do or what they were planning to do as far as bringing pressures, but he knew what he could check to, or he knew if this happened, like I can go here for a check down. And like I think that's more like the mindset you have to have, the like quick thinking, quick decision making. That's where it really comes. Like that's where a quarterback separates themselves from like the rest of the players in the team, because it's like you think about like a running back, they're very reactive to like like someone trying to like tackle them, so they have to like juke or whatever. But a quarterback, not only do they have to be reactive, they got to be proactive. So they got to know, before the play starts, like, hey, can we even run this play?
Yeah.
Or like, where is hey, like that tight end, he's on the ball right now. He needs to get off the ball because that receiver is like on the ball. It's going to be illegal.
Yeah.
Formation if he doesn't. So like stuff like that, like you're thinking about the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
And, it definitely takes it's like a point guard in basketball. I don't know, in lacrosse, I feel like it's not. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No.
Because in lacrosse, you have what, attack, defense, midfield.
I would say like a commander of the defense would be closest, just like a close defender who's talking a lot.
Yeah.
But even then, it's not even close.
It's not,
to the same.
because I feel like lacrosse is a lot more like reactive.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. It's so unique. Like it's such a unique position. You can't really compare it to like a lot of other because it's a team sport. Mm-hmm. Like only one I can really think of is like basketball, where you have that guy that's like keeping everything kind of in check, and that's why I can appreciate football so much for that.
Yeah.
I wish I would have played. I wish I would have played lacrosse.
Yeah.
I wish I would have like.
You would have been good at lacrosse.
Yeah, I wish I would have.
Yeah.
I just never like. I think because I played football so much, and that like I wanted to just like perfect my craft. When it came time for like the spring, I was like trying to do stuff to like, they had like 7-on-7, or I was like working out with like at API.
Yeah.
Shout out Coach Basha. But
Oh yeah.
yeah. But yeah, so like it was like I was trying to just perfect my craft, whereas some guys, I mean like Zach Key played in game, was it last night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a dog.
Dog.
Zaki Wheatley.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of Penn State's best defenders.
But he played he did basketball. He did
He was young when I was there. He's a freshman, so I actually don't know him.
So he played like sports all year round. So like, and it was like me, I just played football. But look at what he's doing.
Yeah.
There's a good they did like a study, and they said it was like a statistic where a lot of NFL players played like multiple sports.
Interesting.
And that probably spans across like even basketball. Probably, I'm guessing like there's people that have probably played just football and like can pick up a basketball and just play that, and are probably playing D1 like D1 college.
Yeah.
And stuff. And it's the same vice versa. There's probably NFL players, but that's like we're kind of getting on top. But the sports in general, like being able to use that and translate that into like later in life, bro. Like, I mean,
It translates to everything.
Yeah.
I think, though, going off of that, it is interesting. Let's say, all right, so you have a kid or whatever, and you want the best for your kid. Whatever, go D1, win a national championship, go to the NFL, and you're like, wait, do we just focus on football? And I don't think you do. I think you put them into everything because not only do you learn, and this is like, so I graduated college and played lacrosse in college, played football all growing up, football and lacrosse, wrestled when I was younger. Now I'm just like staying fit and like trying to do some MMA and just like, but it's like these sports translate to each other so well, and stuff you don't realize. Like playing lacrosse, playing defense in lacrosse, so similar to basketball, and as an outside linebacker in football, just leverage and knowing when to push him. Like in lacrosse, it's the same thing. You're just using a stick to do it. Basketball, when someone's posting you up, you got to keep your hands on the hips, just keep them in front of you. Same thing in lacrosse. And it's like it all translate. And then the biggest thing for me that I wish I would have done, I wrestled when I was younger, and I stopped doing it because I made the B team, and I just fell out of love with it because, I was actually playing basketball and wrestling at the same time. It was also too much. But what's it called? Wrestling translates so well to everything, and that's something that I really kick myself for not doing more of, and I'm glad I do like a little bit more of it now, and like getting more into jiu-jitsu and stuff. But it's body control. And when you're playing football, tackling, like how to shoot the leg. Like it's crazy how well that translates. People don't realize how well it does.
So it's funny. I actually got into jiu-jitsu like right after football ended. So like football ended December. I actually strained my hamstring like the third quarter against Army, but I still played the rest of the game. So I had a couple weeks to where I was just kind of doing some light jogging, just kind of keep myself in shape, but just kind of resting it. But then after like the end of December, I hopped right into jiu-jitsu. I did it for like 5-6 months, and you're right, man. Like it was natural. A lot of that, the body control and like takedowns, like it was so natural for me to do. And I rolled against a lot of guys that were like, "Dude, you're strong." And like if you can just kind of like harness that strength, so you're not like dog tired, you can really like be a like pro at like this sport. And I think like you just said, like wrestling, even like you talk about boxing, any type of like martial art, it's like really important. And I think not only because I call it a sport, but it's a discipline. Like not only are you learning a martial art, but the idea of what martial arts is used for is like self-defense. Like jiu-jitsu is literally for self-defense, and it's like what you can do with that is you have the ability to literally kill someone.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it a discipline, is where it's like, yeah, you're learning it and you gotta, be consistent. But then not only you're literally learning how to harm someone. But I think it's good though, because it instills that discipline. And I mean, I know you did a boxing match.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like doing like if you doing like a MMA like match, like you gotta do that. So you gotta know the whole 9 yards. Yeah. It's like you gotta know, like, hey, I gotta be able to throw my hands, but I also gotta know what to do when someone's trying to get me to the ground. Whether you gotta like sprawl, or when you're actually like in that, and you're in mount or you're in your guard. But like, yeah, dude, I think I wish I would have when I was younger. I wish my dad, we always talk about it now, like he wishes that he would have got me into it. But I think what's cool about fighting, it's just never too late.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure you went into like a jiu-jitsu gym and like rolled with like a 6-year-old.
Oh.
And
he killed me.
And he would kill you. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, it's never too late. I mean, you see a lot of the like UFC guys coming from like all walks of life, like military guys or guys that just wanted to try something new. And it's like cool because, and you don't have to go UFC. Like there's a bunch of like amateur fights you can do, amateur bouts, and they're like, yeah, and it's pretty, like, it's a grind. Conditioning, I mean, you're getting, some days you're literally getting destroyed by people, and then and you still have to like balance your your work and home life or whatever.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I think MMA, any sort of martial art, besides all those fake martial arts out there.
Yeah,
but
there's a couple of them.
Yeah, like kickboxing, boxing, jiu-jitsu, judo, all those. Yeah. I think it's so good. And again, it's like the culture thing. At a gym, you got people, I mean, you got a mom that's 55 years old that just dropped their kids off at daycare, and then someone who's a high school wrestler trying to get better at body control. Yeah. And you got both of them. And the mom's beating the kid. And you're like, what is going on here? I'm telling
you, man.
It's crazy.
I remember my first time having to roll against, because in the Marine Corps, they do a lot of ground fighting.
Yeah.
And I remember I had to get, like, you have to get these belts, like they're MCMAT belts. So like Marine Corps martial arts like program, like I have a green belt.
Okay.
It goes all the way up to black belt.
Uh-huh.
So like it goes like tan, gray, then green, then brown, and black. I guess it's kind of similar to jiu-jitsu, but it's not just like ground stuff. It's like a lot of other like striking and like weapon manipulations. But
yeah,
I remember we had to like ground fight like other girls that were in like the program with us.
Yeah.
I'm like, man. But when I went to a jiu-jitsu gym and like then I had to or roll against like a woman. At first it was like a little weird because I'm like, it's like, but then like she was like, you're fine. Like I'm here to get better just like you are.
Yeah.
And with that I was like, okay, so I'm just gonna do what I gotta do. And she absolutely like, I tried so hard to like do stuff and I couldn't do anything. But it's like it's not about it's not like, yeah, if you have good strength, it can help.
Oh yeah,
but like
for sure. You can brute force your way through it.
You can,
but there's certain things.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say this. There's this woman. She's probably in her 40s.
Yeah.
And she was a blue belt, and I was on my trial class, I think. So it's like my first time doing it. And I was brute forcing my way through it. At the time, I probably weighed 180. She's probably 140. Probably not even. And she's a blue belt, so she's been doing it for 2.5 years, maybe 3, and I'm just my first week. And I remember, like, my wrestling is good. I was wrestling her well, and then she got me in a weird ankle lock with her, like, with this part of her leg. Yeah. And right away, I had to tap. I was like, what? Like, I can brute force my way to, like, shove her, but, like, getting that. Yeah. You know, those kind of things.
And then, because you see those, you see, like, people rolling, going, or, like, I sometimes I watch like actual like jiu-jitsu like matches, like the BJJ like world championships or whatever, but they'll start out like very like controlled and slow, like they're not even trying to, and the reason is because one wrong like trying to take someone down or anything, you put your head down, they know exactly, just because of the amount of times they've rolled, it's just like a
instinct.
It's an instinct. Like
Yeah.
they know right away what they can get you in.
Yeah, they feel your arm here. They know they
Yeah,
can
they're
pull
like,
it,
okay.
throw their leg over. Like,
And it's like real quick, and you're like, how did I even end up here? Like I was just standing up, and now I'm in a pretzel.
Yeah.
But like, but that's where it's like wrestling is like you're obviously a lot more like it's a lot more like okay like grind, where it's like if you go to those if you watch those jiu-jitsu matches, bro, the ones of like the the high level, top level dudes, elites, they're rolling for like 50 minutes. 40, 50 minutes, and finally someone gets like a submission or something.
Yeah.
But 40 or 50 minutes,
your
man.
cardio's just got to be out of
Oh
control.
my! I mean, you think you go to like a regular jiu-jitsu gym at the end, you might do like 3, 4, 5-minute rounds, and you're toasted.
Oh,
and
you're done.
those dudes are going for like 40 minutes. Plus, it's like you literally have to be an animal.
In your mind, you don't think about this. There was actually a study done on people playing chess.
Oh yeah.
Sitting down, and they burn like 1,000 calories in
Because
like a few hours just because their mind's moving so fast.
Yeah.
And you don't think about it because it's like, well, but your mind's like working.
Yeah.
And when your mind's working, your whole body's working.
Yeah.
And when you're when you're rolling and you're feeling their body and you're thinking, all right, if I fake this, he'll do that. I'll throw my leg up. I'll do this, that.
Yeah.
You're always thinking like that. And it's a constant conversation in your head. Okay, here's this. I'm feeling this.
Yeah.
And it's like those guys, I mean, that can do it for that long. That's a different type of.
I know. And then like you just said, the mental, like it's like a chess match.
Yeah.
And it's like, because especially if you take like you think about a black belt versus another black belt, like they know just as much stuff as the other person does, but it's just like, all right, I'm gonna do this, they're gonna do that, but it's like then the other guy's already thinking about it.
Yeah.
But then you take like, I mean, I obviously am a white belt. Like I haven't been in a gym as nearly enough I need to be, but like I'm just trying to survive.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's what you do.
Yeah.
And like they let you. Some people actually, I would say all gyms really, unless it's a really toxic one, like a blue belt will let you like, okay, I'm gonna let you get me in to some sort of submission.
Yeah.
They're not gonna tell you that, but they'll let you do it just so you can feel how it goes.
Yeah.
But getting in like your first person to tap is also, it's a crazy good feeling.
So when I was in I went to like a gym out in Annapolis for a little bit, and I was learning a lot, but I was going against, like the first month I just was going against all the guys that were like either purple belts, like brown belts.
Oh yeah.
And the idea was, the instructor there, he was like, hey, you need to be able to just survive.
Yeah.
Like this is a self-defense discipline. Like you need to be, it's not about like tapping people. You need to be able to like survive. So it was for a straight month, I was just getting I was getting whooped.
Oh yeah.
But then I went there for a month, and then I wanted to like roll at the they had a club, jiu-jitsu club at Navy.
Yeah.
And I rolled with them for the rest of the time. But like then I noticed when I was going against like people around my skill or a little bit above, like I could obviously hang with them a lot more. But as we were just talking about, it became like like we were trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
You know, but that's when I remembered when I was kind of just rolling with them for a little bit. It's like, hey, I just need to survive, and like I just got to look for that moment.
Yeah.
I just got, once that moment comes, and I think one of my first submissions was just a regular guillotine.
Yeah.
And if you're strong, like I watched this dude on YouTube. He literally, he's a black belt. All he does is guillotines. He doesn't do any. He's so good that he just wants to get people in guillotines.
Yeah.
But if you can like get a good, like if you're in a good position, you can make that like work for you. And I think that's what's beautiful is like you don't need to know. What's the Bruce Lee quote? Like, I don't fear the man that knows.
Throw a kick 1,000 times, but throwing one. No, I don't fear the man who's thrown 1,000 kicks one time. I fear the man who's thrown one kick 1,000 times.
And that's where it's like it goes into like this guy is a black belt. Like he only does guillotines. He obviously knows other things, but he's done that so much that like when it comes for that time,
he knows
he's gonna punish. He's gonna punish you.
Yeah.
But that's where I was like, okay, I'm just gonna work on a couple things, and work how to like just know how to like use my like self-defense. So like, you know, I don't want to, like, I know that I'm better in mount, or like when I'm in guard, I need to be able to do this if somebody's on top, you know, like remembering all that stuff. But I remember I had to take notes. I remember one time the instructor was like, hey, like make sure you bring a notebook. And I was like,
that's interesting. Yeah, I never heard of that.
He was like, yeah, like one of my first times, he was like, hey, next time you come, like bring a notebook.
Yeah.
I was like, notebook, like I'm
yeah, when are you gonna take notes though? You're rolling with the guy.
So and then when I was doing it, I would like finish a class and then take notes on, you know, this is what I learned today.
Okay. This is what I did. So like after.
And it helped.
Reflecting.
It helped to reflect on like, okay, this is what I did today, and then if you're, I mean, I'm gonna get back into it once I graduate from TBS because I just want to stay healthy.
Yeah.
But once you do that, man, and you keep showing up every day, it's just like we were talking about. It's a mind-body connection.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, this is what I learned yesterday. Let me do this, and you keep building that up. I mean, yeah, could it take a couple years for you to like? Of course, but just with anything that's worth it, which I think that's a sport. I mean, you see guys in there, they're like, yeah. You show up, they're like, yeah, I've been like doing this for like 10 years. So like it's nothing.
Yeah.
10 years. Like,
and they're in there probably like for 4 hours a day.
Oh too. Yeah. There's like, yeah, just got like, or a guy's like, yeah, I just got off work. It's like 7 p.m. They're like, their kids like on the iPad in the corner. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, I just want to roll around. You get there and he's like destroying dudes.
Yeah. I remember this guy, Ed, I don't think you all watch this. He's a little bit older. He's probably weighed 250 pounds. Might have been a purple belt, maybe not that high. Couple belts below, I don't know. But this man, I'm always getting paired up with Ed, and this goddamn guy, I mean, he's just laying on me. Yeah, I'm like, dude, we gotta, like, I can't do anything. Yeah. I'm trying to survive, and he's having the best time, just choking me out. He would tap me like probably in a day. I'd be rolling with him. Every time I'm like, here we go again, Ed, and he's like just laughing at me, and he tapped me like 10 times a night, and I'm just like, this sucks. But as you start going more and learning more, I was starting to get out of stuff. And that was a good feeling when he was only tapping me like 5 times a night. Yeah. And he was like, you're getting better. And I'm like, I know I'm getting better. I'm always like trying to be like fake cocky. Like obviously I'm just joking with him, but I'm like, I know I'm getting better. Like I'm going to choke you out next time. No, I'm not. No, there's zero shot I could. But like it is a good feeling. Those little steps you take. What's it called? I was going to say, we kind of talked about a lot about football, honestly. A lot about leadership, too. Yeah. What about, this is a random topic change, like a lot different.
I'm here for it.
But aliens, what do you think about aliens?
Yeah,
Are they real or what?
Well, hey, they just had a Senate hearing not too long ago. So they had a Senate hearing, and a lot of other countries came forward as well. Well, more countries are probably going to come forward, but they are not confirming that there's aliens. But for sure, there is UFOs that have been seen, have been discovered, and you could look at interviews from like Navy pilots, Air Force pilots that will tell you like, hey, there are aircraft that we've seen that it's not possible for a human to be in these aircrafts because of how fast they're moving and the aerodynamics of like, you know, a human cannot be in here because there's no way they could take these G's. Like
G-force.
Yeah, and it's like, so I definitely think there's extraterrestrial life. I just watched Interstellar.
You know what's so funny? I had that on yesterday. And I didn't watch the whole movie.
Have you ever watched it?
I watched 30 minutes of it, and I haven't finished it.
I won't spoil it for you, man, but I've always been into sci-fi. Like Prometheus is one of my favorite movies.
Prometheus. I've never seen that.
It's a sci-fi movie just about us trying to find other life, and we come across a species that is essentially they supposedly made us. Whatever, but I love watching movies like that because it really does expand your mind. Like, hey, this definitely could be real, but you just gotta think about it, man. I actually watched it was an 11-minute video on YouTube about how large the universe is, bro. We have the Earth, bro. And then we have like our galaxy, but then there's all these other galaxies.
You're right.
And you go past those galaxies, like it expands so much, bro. Like to say that we're the only life, like I don't believe it. And the fact that we have these pilots seeing these aircraft that there's no possible way humans are flying it, let alone if it's not being piloted. Like, where is this technology coming from? Like, who has this technology?
Yeah.
You know, like, for the most part, you know, obviously you think about the United States, Russia, China. Like, we have top tier, well, I don't know about Russia, but we have top tier technology that can go at, like, supersonic speed. But these pods are seeing, like, stuff go at speeds that's, like, not possible for.
Could you imagine that? You're sitting in a plane and you're just like, what even is that?
That's why I didn't even go that pilot route, because
That's why.
Bro, I mean, like, if I saw an aircraft even around me, I would be like, there's no way. I would, and me knowing me, I'm like, oh my, I gotta get out of this aircraft. I gotta get out of here.
Why? They're not coming for you. There's never been a case of someone getting like shot down. Right?
There hasn't, but I think because I'm a sci-fi guy and I've just seen so many movies, that's why I like being on the ground.
Yeah.
I do like being on the ground. That's why I had to go Marines, bro. I was like, you know, I like being on the ground. I like being able to just, and that's another thing that because you know they do like trainings at the Naval Academy, and probably other schools, but like you have to go and like do the flight training to where it's like they take you up in a plane, like a T-34 like training plane or whatever.
Yeah.
And you can like, they give you the sticks for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I've been on a helicopter obviously, and like, bro, like trying to like lock in and not get like nauseous. Well, you can't help to get nauseous. I mean, I couldn't. I never like threw up or anything, but like it's hard just to say like, oh, like you kind of feel it, because if you're not actually in the cockpit and just riding along, like you're gonna get that like little bit of motion sickness just because of like your whole like
equilibrium
is like thrown.
You're right. You could be flying like this the whole time.
That's what I'm saying.
You're just like your mind. Yeah, no, you. Yeah,
that's what. I couldn't imagine if I'm in I mean, obviously you got a G suit on, so you're not taking all the G's, but then you have oh my gosh. But yeah,
an alien fly by,
and there's just a lot. There's so much out there to like. It's just like with you know, you think about like physics, right? Like people say, oh, here's a theory, it's not a fact. There is all this evidence of there being other life besides humans. It's like, yeah, can we say for a fact that there are aliens? No, not for a fact, but here's just all this evidence pointing towards, I guess you could say, a theory that there is.
It makes more sense that there are than there are.
Than there aren't.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion.
What do you think they look like? Or do they look like the green guys with big heads?
Yeah, I would say I don't think they look like that, just because it's very mainstream. I would say they are definitely, I think they are much larger than human beings. And I think they probably can shift forms.
You think?
I think they can shift forms.
Did you ever play growing up Destroy All Humans? You know that game? No. You get to be an alien. And you're just like this little short alien. Oh, really? And you go around and you can shape shift. You can pick up cars and throw them.
No, I played that. I know what you're talking about.
That game was unreal. It was like it was better than GTA because you could do more.
Do whatever you want,
yeah.
No, I think they can shapeshift. And I say that because, well, one, I think there's aliens amongst us.
You think?
Yeah, dude.
What do you mean by that?
Dude, I think there's like, dude, some human beings just aren't real. Like, look at that.
So all right. So hold on. Let me pull this up here. So
Like
you
that's
think
from like that you see that one that move that the tentacles. That's from a movie. That's from the
this
movie
right here?
Yeah, I watched that movie. That movie goes into like basically like they're trying to communicate. Yeah,
That looks like human hands.
yeah. So that movie they're trying to communicate with like these aliens that are in another dimension.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's even whole. That's a whole. That's what I'm saying.
Here's something that I heard, right?
Yeah.
So if we're going that aliens are real, and I heard, I don't know who said this, but they're like, they can see in 4 dimensions.
Oh,
so we see in
100%.
3, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, this is a good way to explain what 4 dimensions is. Let's say, I'll explain first what 3 dimensions. I know you, like, everyone knows the idea of what 3D means, but like, let's say you draw a picture, right? And it's a picture of a room, and you put a stick figure in the room. Now, the stick figure in 2 dimensions can't see out of the room, but us in 3 dimensions can see into the room.
Yep.
Now, 4 dimensions would be, this is the room. We can see in 3 dimensions. They can see from outside into this room.
Yeah.
So that's the 4th dimension. And that's what I heard someone say.
Yeah.
And so that then if that was the case, they would always know what we're doing. It's kind of like looking at a dog and being like, am I going to really like, why do I need to, like, they're doing no harm.
Yeah. And that's where like I think that move right there it's that move. You see those humanoids, those
Oh, this one?
Yeah. No.
No?
Go back to the last
Oh,
picture.
sorry.
No, you're good.
Right
You see
here?
with the rings. Yeah, so it's a movie. They're trying to communicate.
Shoot.
Right? So like this is where the idea comes in is like they
It's not loading, but whatever.
I couldn't even tell you the movie, so I'm not spoiling anything because I don't even know the name of the movie. Because I watched it. So basically, there is no, here, you could say we're living in the present,
Yeah.
but like, just like in like, an hour or so ago when I was driving here, like that would be the past,
Yeah.
and then the future is like later, going to like watch the Ravens game or whatever. And that movie, what that movie was trying to portray. And what the idea behind this like 4th dimension and going into like past the 4th dimension is like there is no past.
Time
present.
is just
Time is it just not I guess
not linear.
Yeah.
It's like I don't even know.
You know what
what
I'm
it's
getting
called.
at.
I know what you're saying.
And like I think that's what really is freaky, and that's where the idea of like quantum physics comes in. Because like okay, and what I've just briefly like seen or like heard a little bit was like the idea is like we're here, right? But we have like we're vibrating at like different frequencies like across.
Now
so it's
you're
like,
getting into something that I am really studying, but
yeah, but it's like crazy because it's like then you say okay, so there's no past, there's no present, no future. So like whatever's happening right now, like is also happening like you know what I'm saying in the future.
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
it's wild, and I 100% I'm riding that wave, just because of the amount of like research and evidence that's being like put into it. I don't understand it obviously because I'm not a specialist in it.
Yeah.
But it's mind-boggling to even think that that's possible, but it is.
Yeah, no, it definitely is
Yeah.
possible. It's crazy. I think with the frequencies thing, I've been for the past, I would say like 9-10 months, been like studying actually like what frequency is.
Yeah.
Everything. And this is what I think.
Yeah.
From reading a bunch of different sources. But everything has a frequency,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Even like a rock has a frequency.
Mhm.
But it's like, and to bring yourself onto a higher frequency, there's like things that I've experienced myself to like bring myself. It's just like attitude. This is like back to like leadership stuff too. But like, like, I don't know. I don't know. It's getting pretty complicated stuff and stuff that I couldn't really explain.
I know what you're getting at is like even I woke up this morning out of nowhere. Like some days I'm like, damn, I kind of got to get like this extra juice. But today I got right up.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm assuming that's because I knew I had this today. but it's just like what is the why is that? It's not like I got a crazy amount of sleep.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not like because the night before I stayed up watching Interstellar. For like probably like I only got like probably like 6 hours, 5-6 hours sleep, and then last night I probably got like maybe 6.5, 7.
Yeah.
But like I got right up because I knew I wanted to be here today, and you probably felt the same thing. You woke up,
yeah.
you worked out, and then, but it's just like okay, so why? Like what's the phenomenon behind that?
I know.
And yeah, dude, and that's where it comes in is like there's people like way smarter than us that are like studying this right now, and that's what I love about like the human race is like we got a bunch of like big brains that are trying to figure this shit out.
Yeah,
because we obviously like we just can't do it by ourselves. But and that's where like I mean you think about what is it 2025. I was reading this book probably like a couple years ago by like they're called like futurists, but I can't remember all the authors' names when I read these books. I just don't care to like remember their names, but basically this guy he went into like how fast we've moved in the past like at time he made the book in like the early 2000s or like late 2000 like 2000 I think like 10 or so, but like, he was saying how fast we moved in like 50 years, man. Like you think about like right after like World War II,
yeah,
like, where we at like technology. Now it's 2025, 75 years later, bro. I was and this is you can see this on the internet. I'm not the only one that's like seen this, but like I was on base one day, bro. I just saw a walking dog robot.
Yeah.
And someone told me like, yeah, that's been around. I'm like, why have I not seen that?
Yeah.
There's a walking dog robot. Like,
well, but what do you need a walking dog robot for?
brother, think about a dog, right? Dog has their 4 appendages, and it's a freaking robot that like has the shape of a dog, but it obviously moves like robotic.
Yeah.
I don't know what they use it for, but I just saw it walking on base. Like, I was like, they were just like, my friends were like, yeah. I'm like, what do you mean, yeah? Like, that's, you know what I'm saying?
No, I know.
And then I was watching a video the other day of a guy with a, like, AI robot type that, like, can basically, he was like, he put, like, I guess just, like, blanks on it, or, like, maybe, like, some type of, like, BB or whatever. But he could, like, he programmed this, like, robot, or it's AI, but it was able to like literally move wherever it needed the guy to like go.
And was he giving it commands? I think I saw a video. He's like shoot or intruder to the right.
Yeah,
and it was
like, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. That was crazy.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's like this, but it's 2025. That was in 75 years, and with the technology that we have now, think about we're going to be even just 10 years from now.
I know.
So.
Well, AI is scary. AI is getting crazy.
It's getting crazy.
Really
I knew it was getting crazy because it's like at Navy, right? Like we had a big, it's a big like honor policy, like not using like AI, like ChatGPT, like not using that to like write your papers.
Yeah.
And I remember like I have friends at like other colleges that like have a similar standard, but like who's enforcing it?
Right.
But I remember like talking to some people at other colleges, and they're like, yeah, like I remember the first time hearing it, I was at a bowling alley with my ex, and she had a friend, and she had talking to a guy, and the guy was like, yeah, man, you ever heard of ChatGPT? And I'm like, no. I was like, I just used it to write my paper. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, he's like, yeah, I just told it to, hey, can you write this paper about this topic? And it just wrote my paper for me. And at the time, I had no idea what he was talking about. And I looked more into it, and like looking to where it's gotten to now, it's like wow, like you can literally, it can do anything you want it to do.
Yeah.
And my problem with that is like I think there's the good side of technology is like hey, it can aid us in finding a lot of things for the better, but then on the flip side is I think it can create a lot of laziness.
100%.
A lot of dependency, and I mean, there's good and like I said, there's good and bads to it. But I remember growing up, like I was always outside. Like I had a game system like the PlayStation, but like I was always outside playing basketball, riding my bike.
Yep.
Like getting into like fist fights, like like
just being a kid.
being a kid, playing throw up tackle. Nowadays, right? I like my little cousin. I saw him for the holidays, and like we're at the dinner table, and he has like like a phone in his hand. And I remember my aunt was like, yeah, like we got him a phone. It doesn't have like service or anything. He's 4. He's
4 years old.
He's 4, man. And just think about, and that's just my aunt. Think about that across. And granted, he just runs like. Other than that, he runs around and like when he's in the house. So he's not like fat or anything.
Yeah. But for your mind, that's terrible.
For your mind, it's terrible. It can become terrible for habits and your health because you're sedentary. Social. Oh man, don't even get me started into the social part. Like, that's what I'm saying. It has a lot of negative consequences, but then there's also the positives. Like, hey, this is what it can help us do, though.
I know.
So it's like there's a lot of like give and take to it.
It's true, and it is hard because the tools like this can help so much, but if you abuse them or use them the wrong way, it can be just a complete disaster.
Man.
But yeah, I think kids nowadays growing up, oh my God, I mean, you talk about, let's say 5 years younger than us and younger than that.
Yeah.
Even like 2 years younger than me, so a year younger than you.
Mm-hmm.
I know kids, but like that are like this, but like something about the way that they were like, I guess raised, or the technology, or maybe people are saying COVID, whatever. But it's a weird way that they are. They don't go to their friend's house and sit in the basement and like do stuff they probably shouldn't be doing, like taking risks and finding out, oh wait, I shouldn't do that or whatever. They're on Fortnite and they're playing video games and they're not getting out of the house. And they're not going, and yeah, let's say you're playing Smear the Sissy, like throw, that game. Used to go by a different.
I know it.
Different. Everyone knows what it
knows
used to go by,
mm-hmm.
but you could get hurt. Like there's plenty of times you come back with bruise on your arm or something, or like someone might be bullying someone. Like, but you know what happens? You learn, you get to experience these real life things with people. When you're up on these video games and you're just gaming away, like you're getting to talk to your friends, which is good.
Yeah.
But there's not those actual experiences.
Those social interactions that you need.
Yeah.
And that goes with like, even you talk about online dating.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, like it's much easier to send a message than, you hear a lot about it nowadays where it's like, but when it's like you're out at a public place, whether it's a gym, a bar, or just even the grocery store.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, like I haven't had a guy come up to me, like I never have. And I think where it comes from is like, hey, this false sense of security from technology and, having those virtual interactions where it's like, you're in public and you can't even look someone in their eyes when they're talking to you. Like that's a big pet peeve for me is like, I think it's such a hidden gem of like not only respect, but like just knowing that someone's actually invested in listening is like, simple eye contact.
Yeah.
Like simple, just like, hey, like, you just met someone, or like today, like this is just something small, but like I was at the gym today, saw a guy with like an Oregon jersey on. It's like, hey, like he was asking me about if I was using a piece of equipment. I was like, nah, man, I don't. And then I just was like, hey, like, you an Oregon fan? He's like, not like, yeah, my dad's from Eugene, Oregon, and he's actually in the Army. And I'm like, oh, sick. Like I went to the academy. I played football there actually, so I don't watch college football, but I'm in the military now. Just a quick combo. Yeah. And then I got up from like what I was doing rows, heavy rows.
Yeah. You're putting the whole stack on.
Yeah, putting the whole stack on for sure. Nah. I kept it at 180.
Okay.
Going for sets, trying to get that full stretch.
Yeah, you're doing it responsibly.
Yeah, responsibly. Yeah. But I get up and I'm like, hey, I'm Jayden Umbarger. Like, got up, shook his hand.
Yeah.
But I've seen times like of the younger generation, like they're going to meet someone and they don't.
Oh, they don't. I don't know of any kid that is, like we said, 5 years younger than us that has shaken me in my hand and made eye contact. Yeah. When I was a kid, growing up, that was what you were taught to do. If there was an adult, you go up and you shake their hand and you look them in the eyes and you say hi.
Yeah.
That's it. but they don't teach that.
No.
And also, I hate this. Like, it's business nowadays too. Everything's done so virtually. It's when you get to look into someone's eyes, you like see it through their soul, and like you see like hidden stuff that you don't get through an email or a text message. Yeah, and same thing with online dating. Like, I'm so much better when I'm actually in the presence of someone than when I'm just sending off a text or whatever. Like, maybe it's because my personality is like just like people who don't know me like from afar might think like, oh, like they like you don't know who I am until you're actually around me, and then you're like, all right, there's a lot going on, you know. But I think it's, I mean, like you said, it's good because people are being able to get out there more or whatever, but it's bad. It creates bad habits, and the social interaction side of things I think is like, it's really bad, like really bad mentally.
And that's where you were talking about COVID a little bit, man. Like, not being it, like, and I think that really, not only obviously like for health concerns, like, I'm not going to go into what needed to be done or what needed to be done because I don't work in the medical field.
Yeah,
they get paid to figure that stuff out, and there's a bunch of conspiracies that I don't know of. I just know what I was told to do in our designated state, and I did it. Yeah. But I just remember the after, the whole mask thing, and there's like still people wearing masks, and it's like I'm like, man, like I want to, like, I'm talking to this person, and it's like, how can I even, it's past, we got the shots and everything, and like it became like, okay, because we had COVID, like people could still wear masks, which is whatever. It's just like. It just created this like weird, like socially just awkward thing. It's like, listen, man, like I get it, but that's where it just comes in is like, I think what's cool about like being in the military is like we really pride ourselves on just working in a team, and it's like when you're working in a team, right? Like you don't even have that ability to like, hey, I don't have to talk to anyone today. You know? Like,
you have to.
Hey, especially as like an officer, or you're just like a they're called like senior NCOs, but they're basically like, I would say the equivalent of us, just on the enlisted side. Yeah. But like they're getting in front of 40, 50, and then if you're high up in ranks, you're getting in front of like hundreds of people. Yeah. Like talking to them, like that's a true not only skill, but like that's something so integral to just the human experience is like getting face to face with people and working with people. And that's where I'm like at with like the idea of like just technology is like, hey, we can use it for good, but let's try to maintain youth sports, clubs, like and I know a lot of people are doing like the at home from work stuff, like whatever, like that like I remember like people telling me like, after COVID, like I was just able to just maintain my job at home. Yeah. Which whatever, I'm not a business owner. I don't know how that stuff goes, but in my eyes, if I had a business, which I hope to one day, I want everyone to be into work. I know. I don't need people to be at home, not because I hate you and I don't want you to be comfortable, whatever, but it's like, hey, this is a team. We're all working together. Let's bond. Let's get on the same page. Like you said, you look someone in the eye and like talk to them. Like when you're out, like you can gain a sense of like who that person is. Yeah. And that's the whole thing with like, man, like I'm real big on because the texting thing. Like I love FaceTime, man. Yeah, FaceTime is great. Yeah, like I'll just sit there some days and just I'll like last night I actually did it. Listen to this. I was like, how many people can I FaceTime? Last night? And they don't pick up. Yeah. Dude, I got through 6. Didn't pick up, right? And my thing is like, hey, like I get it. Like I just was kind of doing it.
Who are you FaceTiming?
Just like I FaceTime like some close friends, some people that I like. I'm at my school right now for like Marine training. Not like anybody random, but like people I talk to like more on the But just like want to say, hey, if they answer. But my thing is like, I can send a text, man, but like there's nothing behind those texts, man. Oh yeah. Like, and that's where I come. Like, we're probably similar in that sense. Like, especially like, hey, like the dating life. Like when I'm texting, if I'm texting a woman that I'm trying to get to know her, I'm like, am I coming off weird? But like,
Yeah.
I don't even want to send a text. I was like,
I don't either.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Yeah.
just want to like, yeah, you see me talking like, because I just think it's such a, I don't know. I can't. It's just hard to get this behind.
You know what it is, and this is something I've been researching a lot. Is when you say something in person.
Yeah.
When I say something.
Yeah.
When the words that I say are in line with the way I feel about what I say,
Yeah.
you can feel that.
You can feel it.
Because like we said, the vibration, the signals I'm sending
Yeah.
off. Now, let's say like I'm unhappy about something you did.
Yeah.
And I am pretending like, oh, it's fine.
Oh yeah.
If I just say, oh, it's fine, you can feel
You can
though
feel,
I'm
you're like,
sending the feeling it's
yeah,
not fine.
yeah.
You know, I'm like, it's fine. And you're like, there's something there. And like you can feel it, you know, there's actually a signal going off.
Yeah.
Now through a text, you're toast. You're
lost
just
in
like,
sauce.
it's just this.
It's just, yeah.
And especially for me, I talk a lot. Like sometimes I'm like super sarcastic about what I say, like especially if I'm trying to be funny. Like I'll say stuff that's like mean intentionally, like funny mean stuff.
Yeah, but
and like if you know me and you can feel the way I'm saying it, you're like, this is all a complete joke.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious.
But you
but
send it through text.
through a text, oh my god, yeah, you can come
Yeah.
off like this guy's just an absolute jerk.
And that's where it comes in. I'm like, and obviously like the emails, like you're gonna have. I mean, at work you're gonna have the emails. Like you gotta send emails.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I kind of the circle I have, or like I try to maintain, I guess you could say, or just naturally, like I'm big on like, hey man, like there's something that you need to tell. Just call me. I remember my friend. I was on FaceTime with my friend last night. I called him after I left the gym. And I'm like, he was like, yeah, man, I was gonna call you. I was like, bro, call me. Like,
Yeah.
you don't need to think about calling me. Just do it.
yeah,
Like, cause like I said, man, like, I just think because of technology, and then you got COVID, it created this false sense of like, I don't need to be around other human beings.
yeah.
But like, I think that's exactly what we need as a society, man. Is like. And I'm just talking about like the states, like, man, like you think about problems, where problems even start is because people are not on the same page. There's like miscommunication. Why is there miscommunication? Because, obviously people come up from different backgrounds, but then you see the ones where it's like, yeah, he said this to me, like, and it's like through text or whatever, or like a lot of stuff comes from miscommunication.
Well, every single problem is it starts from an interpersonal problem. Mm-hmm. Every single problem ever is due to interpersonal. Yeah. It's never ever anything else. It could be miscommunication. It could be someone did something you didn't like. But like if you think of it, it's true. Yeah. Every problem in life is interpersonal. Yeah. So it is true.
Yeah. And this is kind of to change the topic a little bit, but I'm reading a book right now called War: How Conflict Shaped Us. I studied political science in college, and I was more on the realm of like the geopolitical like spectrum, I guess. So like studying like Russian foreign politics, Asian politics, and just the idea of how I guess you could say war has like shaped the world. Yeah. But that's why I wasn't in the bookstore like trying to pick up a book. I want to read a new book, and it was perfect because it encompasses all the stuff I was learning in college. Like it talked about Clausewitz, stuff that I'm like very interested in. But to go on what we were just talking about, you expand that to, hey, these are just interpersonal stuff between like say me or you or like and our friends. But then you expand that to, hey, this is you have like this leader in this country, and then another leader to a whole other country. Then you think about that realm. It's like all this stuff is just like interpersonal. Yeah. And yes, is there whole like countries, peoples, ideas involved? Of course. Mm-hmm. But at the essence of it, it starts with a person. Yeah. And that's where I like. Hopefully one day I can get into it, but like
politics,
diplomatic relations, but politics as well. Yeah. But yeah, just that sector, I guess you could say, like, I think it's so important. Yeah. You can really influence a lot of things for the better, and like you think like this is our generation, like it's gonna continue. Like just I mean we had the late Jimmy Carter. We just celebrated him Thursday.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Like, dude, 100 years old.
Yeah,
he set a lot of precedents during his time like in office and then even after. But it's just like now it's gonna be up. It's gonna be us up.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like I'm not saying I'm the one. We all are the ones that's gonna have to change it. But like, what can I do to contribute to that? But that's where it goes. Like, I hope that technology doesn't lead us astray, especially with like for example, you just ask anyone like, hey, how do you get your news?
Yeah.
Like, how do you know what's even going on around you?
Yeah.
Like, did you see the videos where they're like, where's do you know what continent Japan is in? And people are like,
I mean, I've seen even ones where they say,
or they're just like,
how many stars on the United States flag.
You know what I'm saying?
The one and she's like, God damn, 47.
You know what I'm saying, bro? Yeah, it's like, but that's like they're joking and it's funny. It's really funny, but like you're like, bro.
No, they don't know. No, I don't think they're joking at all. They're very serious.
Well, it's funny
to look at.
But then it's like, yeah.
You're like seriously thinking about it. It's actually not funny at all.
It's not.
It's scary.
It's scary.
These people are voting too.
And people are voting.
Yeah.
And then you're like, wow. But then that's what I'm saying, man. It's like, and you have like, there are obviously a lot of people that are educated, but it's like for the vast majority, like I'm speculating that, and I did my senior thesis, like capstone, I guess you could say, was on basically I wanted to see if social media algorithmic literacy, or you could just say algorithmic literacy in general, had any bearing, had any effect on extremist attitudes. Interesting. So essentially, you breaking down algorithmic literacy is like just, hey, there's obviously algorithms now for these social media platforms they want to post stuff that to your liking. Yeah. Not actually, because I did the study, I know that everyone doesn't know that, but it was a survey sent out to it was a good grouping of people. I'm blanking on the numbers, but a good grouping of people.
It was you ran this study? Yeah. No. Oh, you did?
Yeah.
So nice.
Yeah. So like, it was our professor helped us, but it was through a polling platform. Yeah. Not polling, but like a survey platform in which people signed up and they get paid to like do the survey or whatever.
That's pretty sweet. You guys could do that.
You could do that. I know.
It's actually unreal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And, set it up or whatever, and basically my study found that my hypothesis was like, hey, like if people have less algorithmic literacy, they're gonna have more extremist attitudes, and the same going the other way. So if you have more algorithmic literacy.
So what would you define as algorithm?
So I defined it in my paper. So algorithmic literacy, I had to use certain statements. Okay. Because when you're doing that type of survey, you have to obviously have you have independent variables, dependent variables, and then you have confounding variables. You got to account for all that stuff, right? But essentially, it's like, okay, the idea of algorithmic literacy is you can basically understand that everything you see on social media that is on your feed every day isn't just by chance.
Yeah, it's been curated for you. Gotcha.
Like, do you understand?
So you're asking questions. Do you understand that?
Do you understand this, and that? And it kind of encompasses, And then the extremist attitude part was that's the easy part.
Right. Right.
I mean, extremist attitudes are like,
right.
If I used I basically use like simple like statements like, hey, do you believe that these groups of people are
right, I know what you're saying. Yeah. Basically, I know exactly what you're saying, and it's a lot of it is because these companies will actually try to target people and get them to think a certain way for certain reasons.
Yeah, and I had someone. I don't know, I was telling someone about it. They're like, "Oh, isn't that obvious?" It's like you'd think the research is obvious, but what was more important about the research was not just because I assumed that maybe it would like my findings would be correct.
Yeah.
But I think more importantly, what I got from it was the age groups. It was like this was more prevalent amongst younger people.
Interesting.
Which can also make sense, but
yeah,
that's what I think is like important, man. It's like, hey, like we have a younger generation coming up. Like, I don't like, do they even know? I mean, because you take a lot of the older folk, like they don't like, dude, they're looking at their phone. They're like, they don't know, like they're just on their phone, like they're not sitting there.
And also, they kind of already have their values and their thoughts about the world, like kind of set.
Yeah, kind of set.
But these formative years for these kids on these phones, it's scary.
It's scary, and because you think about like political attitudes, like where you first get that is like supposed to, I guess you could say, not necessarily, but you first get it like with your family.
Yep.
You know what your parents believe, and then once you're getting older, you can kind of form your own ideas. But now, I mean, you have your ideas being like formed through what you see on like social media, and the fact that people aren't even watching news.
Yeah.
They don't even know what's going on. Like, ask someone like, yeah, where do you get your news from? Like, sometimes I get on like X.
Yeah.
But like,
that's where a lot of people do now.
Or I'm on like TikTok. I'm like, man, like.
I know.
Yeah, like, is there some truth on those sites? Yeah, man, but like, go to like AP, like Associated Press.
Well, you told me about that, and I think that's probably where the future should be getting their news from.
Dude, it's like, okay, you got notifications on your phone, man. Like, I'm like, look, like I tell people, I recommend to people because it's just so like, hey, like you wanna learn news, is simple news. Get this Associated Press. It'll come up in your email every day. It'll give you like world news. It can give you local news, and it'll give you like it can also give you like just stuff going on in sports.
Yeah.
You know, but like, why not have that? You know, like why settle for just like I was on X and like I saw like this happen. Like,
yeah, I think though, and I think this is probably good too, but mainstream news is not trusted anymore, which is probably for the better though, because these news organizations are owned by the same companies that run the food or involved in government. It's the same companies that control everything. So if the news has your complete undivided attention and they want you to, let's say, go buy this food, and if we're talking about food, I mean, this could be a whole separate podcast in and of itself, but like the FDA saying they just changed it, but that Lucky Charms were more healthy than eggs for breakfast.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just telling someone, I don't like F the FDA.
Yeah.
Like man, that could be a whole nother.
Yeah, but I think there's nuance in everything, right? And here's another thing. You were talking about extremist attitudes, and just talking politically, they're on both sides. Now, people know I'm all into health. That's my main issue is health. When it comes to politics, it's all about health. And I like RFK because he's made a living suing companies for health reasons. And let's say I'm talking to someone and all they know is this list of values on their side of things. This is all, they just know how to read this list, and they think because I support RFK that I'm on this list and I support all these. And I'm like, you don't know me. You just are labeling me as one way because I'm into health. That just doesn't, it's like there's nuance in everything, and it's not black or white, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just, that's the extremist thing. It's like, I think it's going to get better, and it is getting better because though these news, their job also is to create chaos and create an enemy, because once you have an enemy, then you can side harder with whatever you're watching. So it's harder to be more independent, but it's more common, and I think it's changing a lot with these independent news sources now.
And that's where it's like, okay, like for for me, I'm kind of in the best scenario because I'm in the military. So like, I can't even go out there and talk about like politics.
Right.
You know, like
Yeah.
get into the nitty gritty with people. It's kind of like more of like, hey, like I'm in the military, so I have my boss. You know.
Yeah.
But so I'm kind of in that best, and then that also creates just like, hey, like because of that, I need to be able to be like have a lot of knowledge, not only on like what's going on in the world because I'm in the military, but what's like going on with like, you know, us.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think because that's been such a great thing for me because I've actually had to invest into that and like doing poli-sci, like I also was just naturally just like learning about stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, I wish that it was, like a lot of like with our like education system, man, like
Our education system. That's another thing I could get
just,
into
like, I
a
want,
whole
like,
topic about.
maybe I was talking to my little sister. Like you have
How old's your
so
sister?
my little sister is 18. She's about to go to the
Okay.
University of Wilmington
Oh, nice.
for soccer, but I'll like talk to her about like just like random like facts,
Yeah.
like easy facts, and
Yeah.
she'll be like, I'm like, how don't you know this?
Yeah.
There's no chance you don't know this. You learned this in the 8th grade,
Yeah.
and it's like I'm wondering like, are they just not teaching this, or is it just like it's such a like it's so. I just don't know. I've been so far.
Well, you know really why it all goes back to why the education system was started.
Yeah.
It was started to make factory workers. That was the origination of education. So the plan was to get them through that, just to get them to know enough to work in the factory.
Yeah.
And it really hasn't changed that much. People don't realize the only way to learn is through repetition.
Yeah.
That's the only way. And so when you teach, hey, we're going to read chapter 1, then chapter 2. That's not repetition. Repetition is we're going to read chapter 1, then we're going to go through chapter 1,
Yeah.
then we're going to reread chapter 1,
Yeah.
then go through an experience of chapter 1,
Yeah.
then go back, read it one more time, and then we move on.
Yeah.
That's not taught. It's taught let's memorize basically trivia for a
Yeah.
test
Yeah.
and forget about it and go on to the next thing.
Yeah, and that's where, and I mean, we were just talking about it with like martial arts, like jiu-jitsu. Like it's the same thing when you're learning, man. Like you can't expect to like be an expert in something, and that's where it goes back to what you were just saying. Like, hey, we're just trying to get these people through school so they can learn the basics of whether it's like arithmetic, like English or whatever, science. But it's like, and which is you have to try to, you know, do that to the best of your ability. But like, how can we incorporate stuff where it's like we're making sure these kids are actually learning though, and not just like getting through it.
Yeah. Well,
You hear that term a lot, like, oh, you just gotta
get through it.
Yeah, you just gotta graduate.
Yeah.
You just gotta get there.
Yeah.
Bro. It's like, no, man, like, just like when I went to Navy, right? I actually had to go to prep school first.
Yeah.
Prep school up in Rhode Island, and so I'm familiar with Rhode Island. And
Rhode Island's awesome.
awesome.
At least when I visited.
yeah, I mean, not the winter though. The winter.
Oh yeah, I heard it's
But,
brutal.
I mean, I'm
Beautiful,
so used to the cold
bro.
now. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
beautiful. But I had to go because my SAT was a 1050. Looking back, I wish I would have like tried more on the SAT, but I mean, you can't like rewrite your so and then I got to the prep school and then going throughout Navy, man, like I crushed the academics.
Yeah.
But one thing that stuck with me was my uncle. He always told me, he was like, look, man, like you're in school, why not actually get great grades? Like,
Yeah.
why just go just to go? Like you're already going to be there for what, like 7 hours a day?
Yeah.
Like, why not just like get the best grades you can? And it always stuck with me because I'm like, why would I be in class like dozing off? Like, yeah, it's boring sometimes, but it's like I might as well try to get an A just to say, hey, like I actually studied and focused in class. I got an A. Like,
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And that built up over time to where it was like by my senior year, man, like I finished with like my final GPA was like a 3.8.
Wow.
But like
That's good.
But like I also was the kid that got a 1050 on my SAT. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not that smart. I just tried.
Well,
Like,
here's the thing
yeah.
though about being smart.
Yeah,
you know?
it's relative.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's
also, how do you measure how smart someone is?
I would obviously not the SAT, and when I took the SAT, I knew I didn't study, and I knew I didn't prepare at all.
Yeah.
I was just kind of taking this to take it, and that idea of like I think everyone has like a natural It depends though. Some people really do have a hard time learning.
Yeah.
So that can create some like difficulties.
Yeah.
I think I had like whenever I could just like focus, I could learn stuff quickly. So that's always a trouble. But I think some people are natural like geniuses.
Yeah.
But like, there's also emotional intelligence.
So I was gonna say.
Yeah, there's emotional intelligence. Like they say, a lot of people that are like geniuses that are really like, I guess you say book smart.
Yeah.
They don't have the best emotional intelligence.
Exactly. And what's more important? What do you think is more important, intellect or awareness? Awareness would be emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Intellect would be your like you said, book smartness.
Yeah, you probably want to strive to have both.
Right.
Like borderline, like, hey, I have like this and that. You need both. I think you need both. You need like a bunch of people to have either one or the other.
Right.
Because different work
It's
fields.
IQ and EQ.
Exactly. Like you talk about like maybe someone that is like works at a daycare. Like, hey, you probably want them to have more emotional intelligence than being the best like intellect, because they're probably not going to be as like inclined to like deal with like an emotional response, emotional stimuli.
Yeah.
So I think you need both. Like people that work in like tech, like
they need to know what they're doing.
They need to know what they're doing.
Yeah, you're
like,
right.
Or cyber or something.
But when you're talking about, and this is important with leadership, is emotional intelligence is an intangible.
Oh yeah.
If you want to be a good leader,
Yeah.
you can't not have it. Like you need to have it.
Yeah.
And you talk about, even though like Elon Musk has autism, even though he's like, he seems on the outside like he's not good. He is like reading his biography. He is really emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
He knows
intentions
of people. He knows what's going on. He's just a little awkward and he doesn't understand social cues. But when it comes to intelligence of like why someone's doing something or how do I light a fire under this person, he knows that really well.
Yeah.
Really well. And he's also a genius.
Yeah.
So that's like what you're saying. It's a combination of both.
Both.
Steve Jobs, same thing. He's got both. He was, though, really, really emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. His biography, both of them by Walter Isaacson. I would recommend both of those biographies. Oh, my God. They are insane. And I listen to everything. I rarely read.
Yeah.
I do a lot of, I read the Daily Stoic every morning. And then just like here and there, I'll read books. But like I listen because I'm just so much easier. And also throughout the day, I'll listen to something for 4 hours a day. Yeah, easy. My ride to work, when I'm working out, when I'm doing some busy work, and then when I ride back or whatever, it's it's easy.
Yeah.
But those are some I really recommend.
Yeah, and that's what is like going into like you talk about those dudes that literally have like done so much work just to get to where they're at, and you think about it's like people say like, oh, that's amazing they did that. Like I couldn't believe, and it's like no, but you can believe. Like that's where it takes that like people that took risks. Those were both dudes that literally were at like the rock bottom of like whatever their dreams and ambitions were, and then look to what they accomplished, look to what they achieved. And like you said though, it took work not only in their field, but they had to work on them as a person. Like, they had to not only, and I was actually just we use this for football, like on our team, like just this phrase of like sharpening your axe. Like I think like as a man, like I kind of use that as like, hey, you have an axe like as a man.
Yeah.
And it's like it's up to you to sharpen the whole axe, like whether that's emotionally, physically, whether that like in your work, with your family, as a friend, like you have to sharpen the axe like every day.
Yeah.
And some days, one's gonna have to sacrifice. Like you're gonna have work one day for whatever many hours that is, but then when it's the holidays, you really gotta use that time to like reach out to family or whatever.
Yeah, connect.
Yeah, but there's like a whole thing of like sharpening that axe, and it's like, but at the same time, there's gonna be those times when you're not gonna have the ability to. You may have to, for a straight month, just lock in on whatever you need to like lock in on. And like I think where I like talking about what we were talking about earlier with the technology and how fast things move, people don't understand that like you have to work like smarter, not harder sometimes. It's like if you can just say put aside certain things, like, hey, I'm just gonna focus on this. People are so quickly trying to get, like, we're talking about like this podcast is like this could turn into something great, like,
Yeah.
and like it could take 10 years.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll happen in a year.
Yeah.
We don't know, but it's the idea of like, hey, I'm gonna put my efforts towards this, and slowly but surely, as long as I'm consistent, like it'll end up maybe being something I never thought it would, or it just pushes you on to the next thing. And that's where it's like I like you, I like listen to a lot of things, a lot of like stuff on either. I have like podcasts listen to, like I like Andrew Huberman.
Yeah,
he's good.
Huberman Lab.
Huberman Lab, bro.
I got
he's
crazy
a beast,
with him.
bro.
I used to listen to him all the time, but the thing is, I started like, oh my god! I mean, my routine is already pretty crazy, but like I was doing everything he was saying, and I was like, this is getting crazy. Like I need to like also like figure something. Like I'm waking up. It's like you gotta shut off electronics at 9.
Yep.
Stop drinking water at whatever 9.
Yeah, cut like 3 hours before.
Yeah, and then wake up.
Don't drink caffeine within like the first
90 hours. I do that.
I
do, or 90 hours. No, I do that.
Yeah.
I don't drink caffeine until 90 minutes.
Yeah, no, it's.
But it's not a strict rule for me. This morning I didn't. But like I can't be crazy strict about everything. But I think what he says is great.
No, there's some gems, and he brings like different people in there, like the sleep guy.
Yeah,
Dude,
I didn't watch that.
Dude, that guy's been on a bunch of different, like he also has his own videos, but like that's like sleep, bro. Sleep's
like so important.
Everything.
I know. It's funny, and this kind of combats that, but I just reposted something that Andrew Huberman just put out this morning, and it was saying about sleep. He's like, a workout can actually decrease the negative effects of bad sleep from the night before. So like, for example, let's say that you go, like the other night, I went to bed at like 12, and I had no intention of waking up early and working out before work, but I was up at 7, and I was just went to the gym and worked out. I really only got like 6.5 hours of sleep. My watch told me like, you got a Garmin?
Phoenix.
Oh yeah. Wait, this is a Phoenix.
What?
We got the same watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. What the? This one's a different color. This one I think is like a step down from that one.
I think this is the 6.
Yeah.
I think the newest one's a 7.
And then this one might be a 5 or something.
Yeah. So, but like I just got it because I had just a 4Runner, and then I was like, this like the upcoming year, I'm trying to do did you ever heard of it? Hyrox? The Hyrox? It's a new I guess you said like athletic event. It's like you do it's in March. I'm doing it in DC. Basically you do rowing, running, sled pushes, like burpees, like metal or the weighted like ball throws.
Oh yeah.
You do all that, and it's like a timed event. And you do it like with a partner. I'm doing that, but I'm also trying to do an Ironman. I'm probably not going to do one this year because just the training. I want to be at like a certain level, but I'll probably do it next year. But I figured I need to get like a watch that can, and also they have like you ever heard of Whoop?
Yeah.
I want to get one of those too. To like this, the Garmin's track your sleep, but like some nights, like last night, it said I only got 3 hours.
3 hours.
Obviously, it's like some nights where it's like it'll track my sleep perfectly. It'll be like, hey, I'm like, yeah, that's when I went to bed, and this is when I woke up. And then some nights it like kind of is off a little bit.
That's weird.
Yeah, but like this, like I told you this morning, I woke up like well rested.
Yeah.
And I got probably like a little under 7 or maybe 7.
Yeah.
Around there, but like, and it goes back to what like Huberman kind of talked about a lot. Is like they always say like, oh, you need to get like 8 or 9 hours of sleep. Like that's not like it's not universal. It's more about like, hey, these are
who you are.
Yeah, it's like where like what can you function on?
Yeah.
Like and what can you thrive on? And like me, I've always been around 6 hours and 30 minutes. Like that's like my sweet spot.
That's awesome.
Around 7.
Yeah.
Like if I'm getting 8 out, if I'm getting 8 plus. I wake up just groggy.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I mean, I'm like, I got rest, but I'm like, but when I like last night, man, like I got the perfect sweet, like, and I was like, I woke up like literally
Just energy.
Just
Oh,
energy,
that's
actual
the best
energy.
feeling.
It is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to get more serious with just like my overall like we were just talking about, but like health.
Yeah.
And like those little nuances of like, hey, like I've been working inside, maybe in the office all day. Like I need to go get some sunlight.
Sunlight, yeah.
Like, so I take like.
What about grounding?
Dude, I haven't. I actually don't do that, but
I don't either, but I think that's supposed to be awesome. I need to do that.
I've seen people at the academy, man. I would always see people running like barefoot, like on the grass, and I heard it has a lot because like you see the new shoes now.
Yeah.
Where like one of the weightlifting coaches at Navy recommended, but they're shoes that basically like
barefoot shoes.
Barefoot shoes.
You know, I've been wearing nothing. So all the white or only those two pairs of white shoes.
Or bare.
Yeah, and it's the only shoe that I've worn for the past year and a half.
How is it?
Unreal.
Unreal.
I can't attribute because I've gotten, like I was telling you before we started, like my athleticism is just like completely shot through the roof since I graduated college, and I can't attribute it to one thing because I threw everything at it. But those, I think my jumping, like the muscles in my feet are finally like doing something, and my ankle mobility, like that has to do with that. And I strictly only wear those if I have, like, I'll put on cleats to play like flag football we were talking about, or like I'll wear dress shoes to go to a wedding. But like these are my only shoes every single day. Yeah. I lift in barefoot shoes. I wear barefoot shoes to work. I wear them out when I go to the bars. I'm always only wearing them. I think they're actually insane. Like they are.
I'm seeing a lot of more people do it, and I think I'm just gonna pull the trigger. I think I didn't. I just, not that I didn't like believe in it. I was kind of like, I was just like, hey, like running shoes. I have like lifting shoes, like. But then I like me and myself, like I had like in college, I had like plantar fasciitis.
Yeah.
Had stuff in my feet, man, or like stuff around like my, like I would always like sprain ankle here and there. Mm-hmm. And it goes back to just little things like that. Like, hey, I probably don't have the best ankle mobility. Yeah. Or like, hey, like my arches are like not to where they need to be. Yeah. Like I'm starting to lose my arches, or like the my for your toe strength, like all that.
Oh yeah.
It's all important, and you don't think about it, but. It's all, everything works from the ground up. Exactly.
It's the whole chain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So I how much were they?
I'll literally give you all the information because I've been doing this for. Well, I've been doing it for 2 years now.
I've seen a lot of people do it, man.
Yeah.
Like a lot of like guys that like are like either weightlifting coaches or just like work out like regularly. Like I literally know there was a guy Navy officer, he was like running in them. Some
people can run I don't know if it's I run in mine. I don't know if it's the kid that it probably isn't, but some kid came over here actually. Who did he come over here with? He was a Navy kid.
I think I know what you're talking about.
I don't know.
Tall dude?
I'm trying to remember because he came over with someone and he was telling me, he's like, I've been running in barefoot shoes.
So that they probably got it from the weightlifting coach.
Probably, yeah.
I always seen it. I'm like, okay, but like now that I'm like, it makes sense though.
Yeah.
Because your foot is like getting like, think about wearing cleats, man. Like, yeah, you're wearing cleats like, especially football, like 24/7. Like my like little pinky toe, bro, is like literally like slanted. It's like that's not normal. Like you should have your full like dexterity like with your toes. Your toes like, it shouldn't be all crunched up. It should be
kind of like your fingers. Yeah. When you're born, your toes are like this, and then over time they get like this. My pinky toe is so bad it curls like this.
Same.
You know, this is hilarious. So in college, it's late in the season and we're like about to like the playoffs are going to start probably in like 4 weeks or something, and I had this bunion on the outside of my feet and on both of them, and it got so fat that it was like super inflamed, and just touching it felt like someone, this is how I described it. It felt like someone put your foot in a vise, cranked it all the way, then took that out, took sandpaper, scraped it, then took a mallet and hit it, and then took acid and poured it on. It was literally the worst pain ever.
Just from wearing
cleats all the time. and
man.
and also wearing shoes that I thought were good,
that were good.
and they were terrible. They were super skinny, and they were just doing. And so I go into the training room, and my trainer, great guy, shout out Sean Farmer. I've been shouting out Sean. I've been shouting you out a lot on this podcast, but he looks at it. He's like, I think there's fluid in there that we got to drain because it was so fat that it looked like it was just like inflamed with fluid.
Yeah.
So he sticks a needle in it and like squeezes it. It was the worst pain ever. I'm like, this is killing me. Like, stop. He's like, it's getting out. I'm like, oh my God. It made it way worse. And like, I had these scabs, but it was disgusting. I had no idea. I would be wearing barefoot shoes. Well, at that point, I was wearing flip flops every single day, no matter what, because I just was like, I'm not dealing with this.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if I would have known, I would have gotten cleats that were, and I ended up switching to Under Armour cleats that were like the sock. It was basically a sock.
Yeah.
So at that point, I was fine.
Fine, yeah.
But I just had no idea.
Yeah.
You don't think. And,
what were you guys sponsored by?
Yeah, we were sponsored by Under Armour, but we were sponsored by Under Armour. But you know what Under Armour would do? They'd give us, here's what they would do. They'd be like, all right, so we got this stuff, and should we give it to like Goodwill, Marshalls, or we could give it to York College? Like, let's just give them it. So like we're getting.
You guys had the bad.
Nah, it was fine. I'm just kind of kidding, kind of.
Kind of.
But like,
well, dude, that's the thing with Under Armour is like, they make some good cleats, but then like their low end cleats are terrible.
yeah.
And that's my thing.
We didn't get any. All we got was sweats. We didn't get any equipment.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know,
The cleats I got were good.
Yeah.
Actually, no, we got a pair of shoes, and I'm not going to talk about the shoes.
Yeah.
They weren't great.
Yeah, so that was my so I had a lot of problems with my feet too, man. Like on my, especially never got the millions, but
Yeah.
my the right end of my foot, like where my pinky toe was, like kind of towards the edge of the foot, bro.
Yeah.
Man, because I cut a lot, obviously, as a receiver, like breaking down a lot. Oh my, man, like, I mean, football. I mean, you know how it is with sports, man. You just kind of like, you're dealing with like random knickknacks, and like it's like painful. You're like, man, like, I just want this to go away. And then like I kind of played through it like a lot, but like it made cutting like sometimes hard. But I mean, once you start getting into practice, getting into a game, like all that pain goes away.
Oh yeah, adrenaline
and ibuprofen, whatever.
Yeah.
But like. That, man, like plantar fasciitis was terrible.
Yeah.
Like, and that all like we were just saying, it all translates. And then I would have like those like hamstring strains, and I'm sure they just stem from all
the whole chain.
The whole chain,
moving up the chain,
muscle imbalances.
Yeah.
So I think, and that's another one of my goals this year is like, because we were talking about like how I want to kind of get down to like a good weight.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things is I kind of gotta. I still want to lift, but I think the lifts that I am doing, I want to like do like more scientific, like, hey, like these are for sure going to be like good to like develop your, for me, I like want to, my goal is like strengthen my legs more a lot this year, but like these are scientific ways that you can actually like develop like, you know, and then like I mean, you know the knees over toes.
I was just about to say that.
So like stuff like that.
I was gonna ask you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, like stuff like that.
I do
like,
that all the time.
I want to get into more stuff like that.
That's what I do.
Because like
my workouts are all that.
Yeah.
And I tell my roommates, they're like, "Can I lift with you?" I was like, "You can, but I'm doing like knees over toes squats. What's it called? Hack squats, like the original hack squats, where it's knees over toe squats.
Yeah.
And I'm doing like tibia exercises.
Yeah,
like,
man.
They're not gonna want to do that. So
it's so important. Like
so important.
Like the tibia, like your shins, like, and to the. I mean, like, you know, oh, I want to go to the gym. Like, yeah, like, you're not gonna. What you're going for is like what you just said. But like when you're at a point where it's like, hey, like we've obviously done the lifting.
Yeah.
And like the, you know, whatever. It's like, hey, like I want to I want to be in good shape, but I want to be healthy. I want to feel good. Mm-hmm. And that's where I want to get to is like, I think now because I'm like in the schoolhouse for like the military, like, I'm kind of just staying in shape at the moment.
Yeah.
But once I kind of want to get into like, hey, like I just want to be like, I want to wake up. And like, I will say after I was done playing football, it was probably the same for you. Like, I felt a lot better. Like,
yeah.
It took a couple months, but like, I was like, wow, like, I haven't felt this good in so long.
Yeah.
Just like, not only the legs, but just like I have posterior like labrum tear in my like shoulders.
Oh.
But like I'm told like I do a lot of like we were talking about, do a lot of pull-ups.
Yeah.
A lot
Pull-ups
of,
are
like,
all. I love
a lot of
pull-ups.
shoulder strengthening stuff with like the the TRX like,
Yeah.
and just always working on my rotator cuff, so it's never been a bother.
Yeah.
But I want to get into I gotta, the thing about it is, man, is I'm still like holding on to that like that I mean in college, man, like you lift, man, and like I'm still holding on to that, bro. Like I was strong.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, dude, I don't even need to be that strong anymore.
It's tough.
Like,
It's
like
tough.
what's the,
I know exactly
like
what
what's
you're
it gonna
talking
bring me other than like I'm just got some.
Yeah, like powerlifting is great to build strength. But that's where I'm at. Like I'm really light right now. Like I told you I'm 165.
Yeah.
And I don't track my weight, I don't track my calories. I track my workouts in terms of like flexibility wise, and like I add weight. But when I was in high school, I was squatting a lot and I had bad knees. I got up to like 365, and that's the most I've ever gotten up to. But now it's like, why am I even putting myself at risk? For what?
So I was literally squatting Tuesday or Wednesday. I did like 315, and then I literally like I was saying something to my friend. I was like, bro, like why am I doing this?
Yeah.
I was like I mean it's good for like obviously like leg strength, but like why am I doing this? Like I could be strengthening my legs in like a plenty.
You could do Nordic hams, or you could do knees over toes squats.
Nordic hamstrings.
Those are crazy. I don't do those, and I need to.
No, dude, they literally are like. I mean, you see the like Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Like dudes like that do like 10 in a row.
Yeah. Or Saquon could probably.
Yeah, but look how fast those guys are. Like,
yeah,
you could tell like it correlates.
Yeah. Real quick, I want to talk about these shoes. This is what we were talking about, the barefoot shoes. So the main thing is your normal shoe will it'll have the heel right here will be like 2 inches off the ground. Just look at any athletic shoe, and then it'll come down to like right here. And then if you look at this has a natural foot shape. And a normal shoe would be like, it basically would be like cut like this, because it's supposed to look like fit the standard or whatever. And so it's 0 drop, and then it's a wide toe box. And the other thing is it's super flexible, so it's got no support. So when you're running in these, these are the ones I run and lift in, and I box in when I just like hit the bag, or like spar with when I'm not on a mat. You feel everything. It's a sensation that you probably have never felt. When you step on a rock, you feel every part of that rock. I ran this morning. I'm stepping on the salt from the snow. I feel every little thing of it. Yeah, and
Does it
like,
bother you?
No, you get used to it. So I will say the first month and a half that I wore these, it was weird, and there was pain in my feet.
Yeah.
But now it's not even something I even think about. I wear them every single day.
Yeah.
And same thing, those other ones over there are more casual looking.
Yeah,
These ones look more like lifting shoes or whatever.
Yeah.
The casual ones, when I wear out, I feel every little thing, and it's great. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, dude, I think, and then another thing, is that custom?
No.
So they're just made for like.
They're just made. This was probably, I want to say this is kind of expensive though. I want to say it was like $160. It's worth it though. This is last me. The tread's almost gone. I gotta buy a new pair of these.
Yeah.
I'll give you the brands that I suggest for each, like whatever casual, whatever.
Yeah.
Like Zero's one that I like a lot. This one's called Groundies. Feel Grounds are really good, and then there's Vivo. I don't honestly love Vivo. They're really overpriced. They're like the original big brand.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you about all those too off the podcast.
That is like, well, cause like I still do like power cleans.
Yeah, I love hang cleans.
Yeah, and hang cleans, and like I do I have some Adidas like powerlifting shoes.
Yeah.
But like even with that, man, like I can feel it's like I'm like this is not naturally how my feet should feel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And now that I run a lot, I can tell like when you're running, you know exactly where like you're tight at.
Yeah.
And I mean I stretch a lot, so like I take care of myself in that sense. But when you're like lifting a lot, your restricting a lot of that that range of motion.
Yeah.
And it's like if you don't ever like work on those like little auxiliary stuff like your shins, your ankles, and then especially like bulletproofing your knees.
Yeah.
Like it can just add up. And I just feel like I see the guys that do the lifting and the running, but I'm just like there's no way it's synonymous. Like you have to. I feel like you have to do a lot of the stuff that like the knees over toes guy does because especially you know about the knees, but like I never had like knee pain really. I mean, I sprained my MCL once, but that was just because of football.
Yeah.
I never really had knee pain like that.
Yeah.
And I think more recently I've noticed like I've had like some like random like just not like a but just like a weird like aching,
Lingering ache.
like a little ache. I'm like, why is it aching?
Yeah.
But I think it goes back to like, hey, like you can't just run and just lift and just stretch. Like you have to be able to like literally work on those little things. And if you don't, like over time, you're gonna feel it.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, for sure. We've been going for a while. This has been actually awesome though. Yeah. We can save stuff for the next time.
Yeah.
Next time we do this, and we'll see when.
Yeah.
But to wrap it up, there's some fun topics here. Just a few questions.
Yeah.
Who do you think the best rapper is right now?
Man, I've been all over the place with music recently. My favorite right now, as far as rap goes, I'm gonna have to say Gunna.
Gunna. Okay.
I'm gonna have to say that because he just makes straight bangers.
Yeah.
A lot of people are not liking him because with the Young Thug thing, they think he's a snitch.
Yeah.
You
can separate the artist from the art.
I literally just listen to it for the music. I don't really care. But yeah, he's on top. I think he's on top of the game right now. Just he can make straight bangers.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah. All right. What do you think the best movie is of all time?
Oof. All genres?
All genres. Your favorite. One that you can like
that I can really appreciate.
Yeah. Like not just like, oh, this one's good. Like one you're like you're gonna recommend this to everyone. Like this is a great movie.
I have two in my head right now that I've thought of immediately. But I'm gonna have to go with John Q.
John Q. All right.
Main character or main movie star is Denzel. Yeah, it's a tearjerker, but I was gonna say Scarface because it's my favorite movie, but if I had to recommend a movie to anyone, it wouldn't be Scarface, it would be John Q.
All right.
It'll change. It'll just do something to you.
All right, I've never watched that.
It's a good one.
I'll have to write that one down.
Yeah.
John Q.
Yeah.
All right. You give me some homework here with books and movies. Yeah. All right. You in a comedy at all?
I am.
You got like a favorite comedian right now?
Right now, it's gonna be Theo Von.
Theo, I love Theo.
I think, but I also Drewski.
Drewski's hilarious,
dude. If I'm ever just having one of those days, I'm like, I will just cut on Drewski, man. His page, he is hilarious.
How about him and Theo?
That's
Theo's
what I'm saying.
podcast.
And then you add two of them.
That
I
is
literally
unreal.
It's unreal.
Unreal. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Or when, oh my God, this is on his Instagram live when Theo came in.
You know what I'm saying?
That is the funniest thing.
And like the thing is like, it's like the thing about Theo is though he's just so naturally funny.
Yeah.
Where it's like Drewski, like he does so many skits, but like Theo just literally is himself and it's just funny.
He is hilarious, and that is straight up. Theo is my comedy. Like his podcast, oh my God. Yeah. It's like just so hilarious. Yeah. Like so funny.
Yeah.
All right. And then here, so I'm gonna give you some a list of just like people that are like in like the social media, like maybe brain rot people. And who are we leaving in 2024? Who are we bringing into 2025? So I'm going to go through a list
here. Go through a list?
Yeah. So we got the Rizzler. Are we leaving him or are we bringing him in?
No, we got to bring the Rizzler.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah. The Rizzler's a good guy.
Yeah.
All right. What about Livvy Dunne? What are we thinking about her?
No, we got to leave her.
I'm leaving her too.
She's
had her time.
She's had her
2024 was her time.
And she has a guy. Like,
True.
It's like
Don't want to step on his toes.
Don't wanna
He
step on
seems
his
like a
toes.
great guy.
Yeah,
too.
dude, he's a great pitcher. Like,
We'll bring him.
yeah.
We'll bring him.
He's the-
Leave her.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What about the Costco guys?
Dude, I'm not familiar with the Costco.
You don't
guys.
know them?
Who is the Costco guy?
Oh, you don't know the Costco guys, but you know the Rizzler?
No.
Oh, they're we're leaving them in 2024.
Okay.
Just let's say that. Good guys.
Yeah.
They've had their time.
their
They've
time.
done what they had to do. You haven't seen. We're Costco guys.
No, dude.
You haven't seen any of
No,
that?
no.
Oh, I don't even know if I want to show you it because I don't want to ruin your. You're gonna be like.
I'm
this
gonna
is
go watch them
terrible.
right after this.
Yeah. All right. What about let's see. You know the guy. What's his name? Zacharific. You know who that is?
What's he do?
He basically pretends like he's like some super famous rich guy, like kind of like a comedian type guy. Pretty funny.
I don't, but I do. There's this guy that he goes around. You ever seen the guy that goes up to like famous people and like and be like, "Oh, it's Birdman" or something, or like, but it's not Birdman.
Oh, wait, but it is him or
no?
it
It's
isn't?
like he'll go up to like someone else like, "Hey, it's like Birdman," but it'll be another famous guy that just looks like.
Oh
Birdman.
yeah.
That guy?
Yeah.
We gotta
Bring
that
him.
guy.
We'll
Yeah.
bring him. We'll bring him.
But they sound like they do similar things.
Kind of. This guy's like more like he's creating a persona, and he like pretends like he's super famous.
Yeah.
Himself.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny. I think he's on the edge if we bring him in or not.
Yeah.
Here comes Sean Morrison.
Dude, you know who we gotta leave?
Who?
You ever seen the new?
Well. Look who it is. Perfect timing. We're about to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Kmart.
Hey.
What's
You
up?
ever seen the new like British like woman rapper?
Um,
I think her name's
Lizzo?
Peggy.
you
we're
guys
bringing-
can come through. We're about to wrap this up.
We're bringing Lizzo. It's a dude,
Lizzo's coming.
yeah. There's this British rapper like she's
Glorilla.
Nah, bro. We gotta leave like Glorilla. We're leaving her. We're gonna
She's-
we're gonna bring Sexy Red.
Sexy Red. All right.
Yeah.
I don't know. She says some heinous things.
She does.
I don't know if she's a net positive for the
But
generation.
yeah, she probably isn't. The reason I would bring her for one more year just to see if
Okay.
she can like
You're like a rebuttal year.
yeah
Yeah, like a
See if
prove
she can
yourself
prove
year.
yourself, but-
Okay, all right. We'll
But
sign
I will
her.
admit a lot of those like what are the other like we gotta leave a lot of those behind.
The one like let that coochie breathe.
Yeah.
Who is that?
That's Sexy Red as well.
Dude, that is heinous.
So that's what I'm saying is like maybe this year she can make some more wholesome bangers.
Okay, I like that. We'll sign her with like we'll sign her on a contingency that she has to make some wholesome music.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Let's see. I mean, we'll do a couple more.
Yeah.
Like, who else are we gonna? What are you thinking?
Dude, there's a guy I've been watching. He'll start out and be like, a lot of people are talking about dry January
Yeah.
or like something like that, and he'll be like, how about all year bender? I want to bring that guy.
You're bringing him.
Here's why.
All right.
We need that guy to uphold the standard of like, hey, that's not the norm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, this
yeah,
guy's obviously joking.
He's keeping everyone honest.
He's keeping everyone honest, man.
Yeah.
I'm bringing him.
I like that. You need someone with that energy.
Yeah.
All right, one last one. I'm just trying to like think now because I didn't have all this prepared.
Sorry.
Who's someone huge in social media this year that we gotta? There had to be one person. What do you think, Pat? You think of anyone
Huge in social media.
that we might have to leave in 2024?
Bro, nah. Everyone's doing the streaming stuff, like the streaming stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe like Aiden Ross or something.
Yeah,
Aiden
bro.
Ross.
I think they did. Is he already left though? I think he's already left.
I think he's probably already gone.
Yeah, that
He
guy's.
just had his fall.
Yeah.
Man. How about Skip Bayless? He's gone.
Oh my god.
He's out of here.
Oh, bro, we're bringing Shannon Sharp, bro.
Shannon's coming.
Yo,
All right.
he's coming.
All right.
Honestly, yeah, we gotta leave. Actually, we'll leave it at this. We gotta leave anyone that is referring to Lamar in any type of like negative way.
Okay.
I'm gonna say this: like a lot of those like broadcasters, right? Like they get paid to do that just because they got someone's got to be Lamar's critic.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's Lamar, man.
Everyone hates on him.
Everyone hates on him.
Yeah.
But I mean, we got to think of one person though to really like. I mean, I'm on social media, but like,
I just see like brain rot stuff pass through my feed.
well,
and I'm
dude,
just
like that's what I'm saying is like the brain rot I see. Like, I don't even know if you could put a name to the people's faces.
Yeah, you're right.
Because you know, like
Yeah.
they're making some pretty like crazy vids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dude, what about? Oh, he's already left. You know what I'm talking about?
You didn't say anything.
Yeah.
How would I know what you're talking about?
The guy. He like they found out he was on roids, but he eats straight like
Liver King. He got left. He was already gone.
I know, dude.
He got left.
That guy excited me though.
He did. Yeah, he had some interesting points. Yeah. Well, anyways, I think we got through some good
bro,
topics.
we did.
Well, Jayden, thanks for coming on. My boy Jayden right here, absolute Navy stud, just animal on and off the field.
This is the original animal.
But thanks for coming on, man. We could do this again sometime.
Yeah.
I think we talked for how long did we just talked for 2 hours and 30 minutes. So yeah, I mean honestly we could have gotten into more topics, could have talked about other stuff more, but I'm glad you came in and thanks for the t-shirt too.
Hey dude.
Go Navy, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Cody, sorry man.
Sorry, Cody Winokur, I'm sorry.
I'm not sorry either.
Sorry for wearing this. Maybe you can come on, Cody. We'll have a Battle of the Captain podcast to see who really comes out on top.
Oh yeah, bro.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
But Jayden, thanks for coming, brother.
Yeah, brother.
Good stuff.
Yeah, brother.
Thanks, bro.